What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news right here on our YouTube page, going live over on Facebook as well as Twitch today as well, ladies and gentlemen. So I certainly hope everybody's joining us today. We got a ton of topics that we're going to be breaking down for you guys. We actually have I don't want to say a breaking news, but a sort of a last-minute addition to the show that we'll certainly go ahead and kick off all of our topics with. As HBO Max is getting ready for Zack Snyder's Justice League, we wind up getting ourselves a brand new trailer that dropped maybe about an hour or so before we actually went live. So decided to add that to our docket to certainly talk about. So it's going to be a stack show. Sit back, relax, everybody, and enjoy the ride. Hopefully you got your orange juice, your coffee ready to certainly go. Give you that needed energy to get through our topics today. It's not just me discussing this stuff today. No. We in fact do have our entire crew on hand today. What's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing today? Happy Valentine's Day, y'all.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Don't worry, Andy. I'm not asking you to be my Valentine's man. I'm just saying happy Valentine's Day. So stupid. Yeah, quick shout out to my lady, Cindy Flores. I hope you're having a fantastic Valentine's Day. It's snowing here, guys, in Dallas, Texas. How's the weather where you guys are at?
Very cloudy. Looks like it's about to rain, but hasn't quite started raining yet. But definitely a quick shout out to my girlfriend as well. Happy Valentine's Day, Megan DeWitt.
Indy, is it a single awareness day for you today, or what's going on, man? What happened? What just happened there? Are you on mute? I think you're on mute, Indy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my Booker T on today. That's what I'm gonna do. Unless, hi Dino, how you doing today, Dino? No,
I love it.
No, the weather. I don't even want to hear y'all complain about the weather. We're finna get hit with another 8 to 10 inches. So it has never stopped snowing.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, it never stopped.
I didn't know it was that bad over there, man. My goodness. Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't get snow very often. We don't get snow here very often when it comes to Dallas. So anytime that we do, I got to brag about it just a little. Before we get into all of our topics, let's see who we got here with us today. We got Indy certainly coming through. Oh, you're here, Indy. My goodness. I'm handsome dude is certainly in the house. We got Dino Fury in here. We got another Dino Real Sarge. Guys, you're gonna have to change your name. Someone's gonna have to budge and change a name here or something like that. I'm
change the colors.
Yeah, just change the colors.
Change the colors. Somebody be red, somebody be green.
Yeah, there you go. Why you're not with Cindy, Adam? Aren't you always at a different place on Sundays? Yeah, sometimes the weather is terrible. It's not really the best for driving through, unfortunately, today. So unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity to spend Valentine's Day with my girl here. We're about 45 minutes, 50-minute drive away from each other. We literally out in Fort Worth this past week. There was like a 75-car crash pileup. Nobody in Texas knows how to drive in inclement weather. So as far as going anywhere today, unfortunately, no, it's not going to be able to happen. So yeah, sad day, man. Sad day when you can't be with somebody that you love. But you know what? We're doing our best to certainly reach out to each other today for sure. Yeah, so today we are in fact doing our show from home. So I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. Before we get into it, guys, any honorable mentions? You know how we like to kick off this week. Any honorable mentions before we start diving into the main topics this week, guys?
I know. I'm going to let you go first for this one.
Okay. For me, all you comic fans out there, and I always feel like Marvel does stuff for a reason, but we're not going to get into that. But they added an interesting character into the Guardians of the Galaxy, man. Not only do we have Star-Lord, Rocket, and Gamora, they're teaming up with Window Vaughn, Quasar, and Doctor Doom. Of all people. And just to be aware, normally when big things are finna happen on screen, they tend to throw characters with other popular characters in the comics to get people more aware of that character. So
have they mentioned how he's going to be involved at all, or are they just teasing Doctor Doom as part of the team?
They're just teasing it right now, but they got the first cover already out.
My goodness. Awesome. And listen, we know with Kevin Feige sort of being the guy giving the big thumbs up for even Marvel Comics decisions over there. Yeah, who knows, man? Maybe it's Victor Von Doom for our first time. We'll see, man. We'll see. Great honorable mention, though. Great honorable mention, man. What about you, sir?
What you got? I just imagine for Indy's honorable mention, it kind of turning into the Masters of the Galaxy, and then you just have the song from Glory Hammer playing in the background. We are the Masters of the Galaxy.
Star-Lord will be 100% down with it.
Yep,
He
exactly.
probably got the song on his tape deck.
Probably.
But yeah, my honorable mention. Okay, so I was gonna do something else if Indy brought this up, but since he didn't, I'm gonna bring up the Borderlands movie, and the fact that they got Eli Roth of all people directing this film. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, he's the guy that did Cabin Fever, probably most known for the Hostel movies, which those ones I actually haven't seen. They might be good, but I doubt it because I've seen Cabin Fever, I've seen Green Inferno, and I've seen Knock Knock, and all three of these movies have one major thing in common. They're all funny for the wrong reasons. Like you go into it and they're supposed to be horror movies. They're supposed to scare you, but you end up laughing your butt off every time. So I'm like kind of wondering, with knowing that he's going to be directing this Borderlands movie, if maybe that's why he got the position. Like maybe the producer of this movie thought he was purposely trying to be funny with his films and thought, oh, this guy has the perfect comedic tone that we're looking for Borderlands or something. Either way, I just find it very bizarre that they chose him to direct this movie.
Nah, it's gonna end up with a movie supposed to be funny, and it's gonna be like the best horror movie ever. That's what's gonna happen.
That'll be his secret. That's what he's been missing this whole time. He needs to try to make a funny movie, and then he can create like the greatest horror film. Who knows?
I mean, I feel like comedy and horror can be kind of linked in a weird kind of way, honestly, in regards to how you go about telling them. I will say this: Hostel, I actually didn't mind. Gory as all how I remember seeing Hostel in the movie theaters. I didn't the first one, but I understood what I was getting when I was going into it also. I'm even familiar with the Borderlands game. I might have played only the first one a little bit. I don't really know like the tone that they're supposed to set. I know when they've had been releasing a bunch of the casting announcements, you guys were just not feeling the choices that they were making. Like, do you feel they're kind of turning this into like a Jumanji-esque kind of comedy video game type of thing, or what's going on here?
I honestly think it's gonna be worse than Jumanji. Because
I like Jumanji.
No, that's what
but I mean, I guess for Borderlands, I
think the thing behind Jumanji was the fact that The Rock's production company was so involved in what was going on. So you kind of felt the tone. I'm coming to the point where I trust his $5. You know what I'm saying? Productions. I know what they're going to deliver when they give it to me. I do not trust Eli Roth with this franchise at all.
I get you.
This is my baby. You know what I'm saying? And then I start seeing the cat. Like, I thought it was just a spoof when they started dropping casting decisions. And then I thought it was real. I thought somebody was just being funny. I'm like, oh, no. This is going to be the Super Mario movie all over again.
Oh no! God, I hope it's not that bad. A Super Mario reference. Oh my goodness. Sorry. We'll see what they have in store for us, guys. But great honorable mentions, guys. A couple things off the top we'll go ahead and knock out real quick. Hawkeye, the Hawkeye MCU series is continuing to film. They went ahead and actually released brand new set photos here. We're getting an opportunity to see Haley Steinfeld just doing her best Kate Bishop impression. Just looking great with that costume. I feel like the costume continues to grow on me more and more. I actually see her in here. Looks like she's kind of getting ready for action. I'm not sure exactly where they're filming at currently, but they have, in fact, at least dropped a couple of brand new photos. Again, all these photos do come from justjared.com. You can always check them out if you're looking for some great behind-the-scenes photos. So the Hawkeye series does, in fact, continue as Haley Steinfeld is seen here in some of these photos. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, this guy's in the movie too, I think.
No, hold on, go back. I was trying to see
this Jeremy Renner guy. He's in it, I guess.
I was trying to see what the bow said. It was writing on the bow.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, there's writing on the bow. I was trying to make that out. Safe archery.
Safe archery. Interesting. I wonder if she's gonna have this. I wonder if they're gonna black that out or blur that out when they actually do the movie, or if that's just something in one of her designs for her bows. I don't know. That's pretty cool though. I think catch that. Is that what that says? That does say archery. Safe archery.
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you picked that up.
And here I was expecting it to say "made you look."
Yeah, for real, right? But yeah, Jeremy Renner's in here too. I think they didn't have too many other shots of him. I think he's just walking around smiling, just happy he's got a television show, honestly. But what else do we got here for honorable mentions? Oh, before we even get into this trailer, guys, I gotta ask you a question. Did you see this fucking bat tank that they released? They did this teaser leading up to the trailer this week, and they showcased Batman on top of his bat tank. Like, if you thought the tank that they had in Dark Knight was something, I mean, this thing is massive. Look at that. Look at the size of Batman on this thing. What do you guys think of this shot?
All it's missing is the mastodon head.
Yes, that's exactly right. This looks like something straight out of like a Transformers movie more than anything else, but it's Zack Snyder instead of Michael Bay, so it's got like heavy filters all over it, of course.
Yeah, and mind you, this bat tank is actually inspired from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Rises comic book series. It is actually in there. So leave it up to somebody like a Zack Snyder to really pay some homage to great comic book lore and put some fantastic moments and Easter eggs in this film. So I'm super pumped for it, guys. But those are our honorable mentions here for the week. There were actually a lot of stories that unfortunately just did not make the cut. Some really great quality ones. So I definitely recommend you guys check us out on our Facebook page and receive some of the other stories that we have in fact so far dropped for you guys this week. But with that out of the way, according to Instagram, Haley is in Los Angeles. Okay, thank you very much, Dino Real Soul, for allowing us to know where that's at, because I wasn't sure if they were in like New York. Maybe they're doing some traveling for some of their filming. Who certainly knows? But guys, this came last minute for us. We had our 6 topics kind of ready for the day, but it kind of turned into 7. So we'll see how this episode goes. But we knew this day was coming. Zack Snyder had been teasing it all week long that we were going to be getting ourselves a Justice League trailer, and he was not lying at all. He definitely came through with it. I think majority of us had the opportunity to check out this Justice League trailer. So let me start with you over here first, Stuart, because I know you had the opportunity to check it out. What are your thoughts, man? 2-minute plus trailer here. The HBO Max is set to go ahead and release this on March 18th as a 4-hour movie, rated R also. What are your thoughts, Stuart?
Definitely didn't hit me like the first trailer they released for it, which I still think that regardless of how the movie itself turns out, which I still am not, I don't have high hopes for at all. I did think that the first trailer was really well put together. Watching the second one though, not quite as much. It just looked very generic, kind of like exactly what I was really expecting from it. And then, we get that tease at the end with Jared Leto seemingly having more than just a small I don't know. It's overall, like, I just was kind of like meh about it. I'm still definitely looking forward to watching it, but like with how much I didn't like Dawn of Justice and how much I thought Man of Steel was kind of bland, I still am expecting this movie to be an absolute train wreck, but I'm definitely looking forward to watching it, because sometimes even train wrecks can be entertaining to look at, I guess. This
is quite true. What about you, Indy? What are your thoughts, man?
I like the last 10 seconds of the trailer. that was my favorite part of the trailer. No, I'm loving the fact that they're showcasing Ray Fisher's Cyborg a lot. He was in this trailer a lot, even with the transitions from Superman in his black suit getting ready to fly up straight into Ray Fisher. I love the fact that they're taking the time to showcase that character. As much as we saw less of the Flash and more of Cyborg in this trailer. And I appreciate that, because we're like on Flash overhaul right now. Like my Flashness is here. Give me more Cyborg. So it looks pretty good. You even saw less Diana. If you think about it, they show more of the other characters, and the characters that we see more of, they show less of them in this trailer. I like that it seemed like the voiceover was the voiceover Joker for the entire trailer. It felt like
different people quoting different things, different lines.
Okay. Well, I like the tone that they set, that it led up to him at the end of the trailer saying that amazing line. You know what I'm saying? And it really set the tone for the movie. It really feels like this, even though we know how it turns out in the end, it makes this feel like our heroes have no chance at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like
Well,
whatever. Oh, go ahead, Stuart.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, to actually add on to what Indy said, we don't the one thing I am really excited about with this movie is I feel like Zack Snyder knew when doing the reshoots and when re-editing this all together that this isn't going to have any big place in the grander DC universe. This is going to be a standalone film in its own kind of separate continuity. So what it could possibly mean is that the stakes might actually be real this time. So the apocalypse thing that you see at the end might actually stay the apocalypse thing that you see at the end. Like, it may not be something that gets resolved afterwards. Characters that die may have permanent deaths in this movie. So that's kind of what I'm keeping my fingers crossed for. If there's anything to majorly look forward to about this, it's the fact that the stakes here are more real than we're going to see in any other DC movies going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that. Yeah, because I mean, we may know how it ends, but who knows? I mean, I know we got the Joss Whedon Justice League film. I don't really know if the cut of Zack Snyder's film necessarily ends the same way. You know, not only that, but we do have like an additional 2 hours or 3 hours of just new footage that we have yet to even see. So there's a ton of stuff to go ahead and just kind of fill in the blanks. What's up, Indy? What you got?
Okay. The first Wonder Woman took place in the past. The second Wonder Woman took place in the past. If we're all lucky, this film ends with the death of Wonder Woman and we get no Wonder Woman 3.
What? Why would you want that? Come on, bro. Like, why would you want that? Look, I'm clearly gonna have to be the hype man for this movie here when it comes to Justice League. First off, when I watched this trailer, the tone, like you said, Indy, I absolutely love it. It definitely gives you the vibe that the stakes are much higher, that this is definitely going to be a different movie than what we wind up getting previously, which I really appreciate. I do want to ask you a question, Stuart. When you say the first trailer, you mean the one that they cut that had the same Watchmen theme sort of attached to it? Okay, I got you. I did like that one also. For me, I do love the fact here that this trailer definitely gives you a sense of what the story might be or what the story could potentially be for this. The idea of seeing the death of Superman, seeing how his death clearly echoes around the world, hitting and affecting Themyscira, clearly grabbing the attention of everybody. Some great new fight sequences here with Steppenwolf also. I really loved everything that I saw in this trailer. I thought it was really well put together. Some quick glimpses of shots that honestly I don't recall having ever seen before. So when I'm going into this, I'm definitely expecting just a different tone, a different atmosphere, and just a different vibe in general. A couple of quick lines that I thought really stood out to me. You guys mentioned it when it comes to Jared Leto. We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. And then he turns around and he says, "Isn't that right, Batman?" And you get the opportunity to see a nightmare version of Joker, which I thought was fantastic. I also loved hearing Alfred in his quote, "If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it," talking about Darkseid or Steppenwolf maybe trying to bring back Superman, maybe teasing him with that idea. I love just the dialogue that Zack Snyder's bringing to this film. There's even a moment in here where you can hear it looks like Jonathan Kent talking to Superman. He says, "You were sent here for a reason, and even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is." And it winds up hitting at a beautiful moment where you see Superman getting ready to fly, and as he goes through the air, it quickly edits into a close-up shot of Cyborg flying also. And to kind of go back to Indy's idea of really getting to show a little bit more of Cyborg in this trailer. So I love the emphasis that it's putting on it, that this is going to feel like a completely different story. I mean, it's 4 hours long. I find it hard that it's going to feel anything like what Joss Whedon wind up giving us, and it might have some twists and turns that I don't think a lot of us are probably expecting. Like, for me, it'll suck if it's a standalone film and we don't get any more of this, but you know what, I'm glad at the end of the day that Zack Snyder got a chance to finish off the vision that he wind up having for this. But man, I'm pumped for this. I absolutely love this trailer that we wind up getting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole thing of that you said at the end with Zack Snyder getting to finish this. Because yeah, again, I stand by like, yeah, the way they fired Zack Snyder was messed up, and the least they could do for him is let him finish this project. So I am really glad that they're doing that. What I'm hoping also comes after this movie is I'm really hoping Warner Brothers rehires Ray Fisher after this, because I think, yeah, again, them firing him for, you know, stepping up and in like, you know, bringing light to a really crappy situation was really messed up. So I really do hope that, you know, this movie convinces Warner Brothers to bring him back and make a public apology too.
I honestly think that this movie should literally carve the Joss Whedon edit of the last movie. Like that shouldn't. This should actually take the place for me of that last movie, period, because Zack Snyder's premise should be what the premise is for what this movie was supposed to be. And I agree with Stuart. They should, especially, I feel like this Snyder cut is going to get a lot of Ray Fisher love. Like, I feel like people are just waiting out to pour love and support for him, especially if he has, you know what I'm saying, like he's supposed to, a larger role in this film. And when it comes to that, we done seen companies forward as it is already into the pressure of the consumer, because we honestly have all the power when it comes to something like that. So it's really on us as the consumer to rally behind Ray Fisher when it comes to that point. The one thing I would like him to do, I don't care about NDAs or nothing, speak your mind. You got people standing up there with you, speak your mind and let us know exactly how they wronged you, so that we can support you better in this war that you're going up against, this war of attrition, because you are Cyborg. I'm not accepting any other Cyborg, period. So y'all might as well, if y'all gonna move forward, don't even think about bringing Cyborg back, because if it's not Ray Fisher, y'all are some idiots.
Yeah, maybe if we get something like
you mean just for the DCAU, right? You're not talking about like in general.
No, I'm talking about just for the DCAU, because you know.
Okay, good. Because I'm like,
I love my other Cyborg, the Teen Titans Cyborg. Yeah, you can keep him. Get rid of the Teen Titan Ghost Cyborg. I don't like that dude, but you can, but you can keep.
Well, I was referring to the Doom Patrol.
The Doom Patrol, yeah, Jovian Wade. Yeah, I do love him as Cyborg.
Oh, the Dollar General Ray Fisher.
Come on.
I was just talking about aesthetics wise, costume wise. The dude, I honestly like the dude, but when you look at Ray Fisher, when you sit them side to side,
I mean, yeah, it's production value. It's a production budget. Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, I totally get it.
It's production value, but also, here's the thing for me. Like, I'm not trying to come off as the cliche CG ruins Hollywood, but at the same time, I do think that when I see like someone wearing prosthetics as like cybernetic, like cybernetic makeup essentially in the film, to me that looks a lot more realistic as what a person with cybernetic enhancements would look like, as opposed to Ray Fisher, who in the entire Justice League movie, at least in the first one, maybe they'll tune it up better in this one, he just looked like a cartoon compared to everything else because of like just how bad the computer graphics were. It's not even just the fact that they looked bad, it's more that they just looked so out of place compared to everything else. So it's just that, yeah, to me, like real makeup looks way better than computer makeup any day. So that's why I kind of prefer the look of the Doom Patrol Cyborg personally.
Well, I don't know. Like for me, I never had so much problem with the special effects. I mean, I feel like that's more of an issue that you have with the design of it. Like, I wonder if they had designed it better, but still used the quality of special effects that they had. I wonder if it would hit home for you differently. Like for me, I just you know, the design definitely feels unique that they decided to choose from. I didn't mind it so much in the first Justice League film, but I'm wondering if that's more of a design issue than a special effects thing. But I don't know, but we'll see, guys. Listen, I like the Justice League trailer wind up dropping today. I definitely want to know what your guys' thoughts are. March 18th will be here before you know it, less than a week. I may actually wind up trying to see if we can do another series of watch-alongs. I know we did some watch-alongs for APlus opinions, but unfortunately we wind up losing that. So maybe I might end up doing watch-alongs again, maybe going one DCEU movie, kind of leading up into the new Justice League film. Because one of the films that we didn't do for DCEU was Justice League, and I was kind of waiting for that particular moment for this film to go ahead and drop and actually do maybe a watch-along for this Justice Justice League movie also. So we'll definitely see. We'll try and do a little bit of a hype machine leading up there for you DC EU fans and see what we have in store.
HBO Max, we need you to get a group watch like Disney Plus got now.
Yeah, that'd be pretty legit. That'd be pretty legit. Yeah, but listen, guys, at the end of the day, these are just simply our A+ opinions. We definitely want to go ahead and know yours. What did you think of the Justice League trailer? Go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, we will technically get into the main topics of our day that we actually had prepared before Justice League wind up dropping for us today. So you fellas ready to really dive in today?
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Let's go ahead and get it. So one of the movies that we've, or not movies, but one of the television series that has been getting a ton of talked about lately is in fact The Last of Us, which is in fact a video game now being adapted into a television series coming from the minds of the creators of The Last of Us, along with the showrunner for Chernobyl, another HBO Max original series. They've combined to go ahead and bring us The Last of Us television series. And this week they had some huge announcements in regards to the casting for a ton of those characters. So let's go ahead and start diving into the two that Hollywood wind up picking up here for this film, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. This is going to come to us from let's see here. I don't even know where this is. I think this is from the Hollywood Reporter. Now that I think about it, yes, there we go. Hollywood Reporter comes. Says The Last of Us, Game of Thrones breakout Bella Ramsey set to star as was it Ellie? Eli? What Ellie? What is it? What is it, guys? Ellie. Okay, perfect. And this is an exclusive from the Hollywood Reporter. It says Bella Ramsey, perhaps best known for her breakout role as the fierce Lyanna Mormont in HBO's Game of Thrones, is reuniting with the Cabler to star in The Last of Us, the company's adaptation to the hit video game. It does say that one of the persons not involved in the show is former True Detective star Mahershala Ali, whom geek websites on Wednesday had pegged as having an offer. Ali did circle a particular role, says source, but a deal never came to fruition. It does say here that Ramsey will play Ellie, a 14-year-old orphan who has never known anything but a ravaged planet and who struggles to balance her instinct for anger and defiance with her need for connection and belonging, as well as the newfound reality that she may be the key to saving the universe. And it does say that Bella Ramsey is 17, skyrocketed to fame after her fierce portrayal of Lyanna Mormont on Game of Thrones. And it says the role marked her acting debut, actually. So talk about going from your debut for Game of Thrones, having a huge impact, to going to a Last of Us television series in here. We know when I look at her and I look at her video game counterpart, I'm like, yeah, they certainly look alike. I really loved what she came up with and what she was able to do in Game of Thrones. For her to have that sort of fierce ending to her character towards the very end in the season finale, I thought was brilliant. You really got to see her kind of shine, especially in the later series also. So I really loved her in Game of Thrones, and I think this is a fantastic pickup when it comes to The Last of Us. Great casting choice, if you ask me, and I think she's definitely going to go ahead and deliver. But you guys hear this news here. We will get to the second person also, but just right off the bat, to go ahead and give Bella Ramsey her own individual shine. How do you like the pickup, fellas?
Quick question first. Is she the one that was the really young queen from Game of Thrones? Okay.
Yeah, that was her.
Cool. Then, yeah, no, I think this is going to be a really good casting choice for sure. Me, I absolutely loved both the first and the second Last of Us video game. So I am super hyped for the television show. In fact, in a lot of ways, it actually almost feels like the second game in particular was really formatted to be like a TV show. So I feel like the potential is definitely there for it to work out as a television show. I am very curious on how much of the story elements from the games they're actually going to bring into this series. But yeah, I do overall have real high hopes for this. And I think not only her casting, but then the fact that they also got, I believe, Pedro Pascal, right, to play Joel. I think like the two of them working together is going to be really cool. Funny how they got two Game of Thrones actors to star in this, but we've obviously never seen them together together on screen in Game of Thrones. So it will be interesting to see what their chemistry will be like in the show, because that's kind of that's the main thing you definitely got to get down more than anything. You got to get two good actors, but not only that, you got to make sure those two good actors can play off of each other really well. So I'm excited.
I will say this real quick before I get to you real quick, Indy. I do love the point that you make in the sense of, damn it, I lost my thought. I'm sorry. I had it. Oh, the idea that you said, you were curious as to how they were, the idea of adapting it and things like that. How close to the video game that they certainly had. I do think that that's a great question, especially considering the fact that we at least do have the Last of Us creators that are in fact going to be on board with this also. But the fact that they also have somebody like the showrunner from Chernobyl, I think it's a great opportunity for them to learn and to see how do you take something like a video game and actually adapt that to fit the small screen. Because I don't think, that translation is not, I don't want to say it's not that easy, but we've clearly seen that translation try and play over in movies. There is clearly, you can't just put what you have in the video game directly into a TV series. There will be clearly some adaptation, but to have somebody like a Chernobyl showrunner who, if you guys haven't checked out Chernobyl, please do yourselves a favor. I think it's great to have somebody on the video game side and TV side to really make this work and give us, which should be a great blend to lend itself to television. But let me go ahead and throw this over to you, Indy. What are your thoughts in regards to hearing Bella Ramsey picked as Ellie for this show?
This, like Stuart said, it's going to be interesting to see what the chemistry is going to be between the two, because although they both come from Game of Thrones fame, they were never shared on-screen time at all, with Pedro's character actually being killed off pretty early in the series, and Bella's character being introduced, later in the series. But the Queen of Bear Island has shown me through multiple things that I've seen her in that her acting chops are fully there to carry this role. And Pedro does what Pedro does. He's either going to be really good or not bad, because he's never been bad. Never been bad. I think you're muted, Adam.
I probably am. Probably am, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do. I know a lot of people are afraid about Pedro picking up this role, wondering what's going to happen with the Mandalorian. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure that we won't get a Mandalorian season 3 anytime soon. You can film one thing and still film another. I'm hoping that this gives us more background in which we didn't get from the game. That's one of my problems that I have with the game. I felt like, although it was an immersive and an interesting and compelling story and game itself, I feel like there was so much backstory that could have been told through the eyes of other characters and other things going on. So it's going to be interesting to me how they tackle that with introducing other cast members and stuff like that. If we can get a little bit more throwback background and stuff like that, just to world build, because if everybody knows, if you ain't played The Last of Us 2 by now, I'm sorry, but we lose people very early in this series. So it's some people that's not going to be around for that long. And I would like to get the chance to know more of who they were before the world ended up the way it did in the game.
And you might be onto something there. I mean, again, I think the idea of the Chernobyl showrunner being on there might help you be able to get maybe some of that backstory into a television format, if you will, for the video game, to kind of explore and expand a little bit more on that, and really allow these, the video game writers for that to really kind of reach out to other storylines that maybe they had wanted to have brought to the video game, weren't able to really get that in depth. So we'll see. I definitely looking forward to it. What else you got, Stuart?
Just kind of adding on to what Indy was bringing up, there is a time jump between Last of Us 1 and 2, and we get like a few flashbacks of like things that happen in between them. But I think that for the most part, you could theoretically, like if that's the way they're going, like they're directly adapting like both games, I think you could just have like 1 or 2 seasons just taking place in between Last of Us 1 and 2, and I think it could actually work out really well. So I'd be really curious to see more of that. Also, like The Last of Us had a couple of kind of spin-offs. I'm not sure, but like one of them was a DLC, one of them was a comic book, and both of them were prequels involving Ellie and her past relationships. So it would be cool if we actually got to see those play out in like episodes as well.
And just to kind of jump on board, because you guys had already talked about him already, but I do want to go ahead and bring up the article itself. As they have, in fact, mentioned, Pedro Pascal has also been cast for this particular role. This actually comes to us from Deadline. Pedro Pascal will star as Joel in the Last of Us HBO series. It says exclusive in one of the biggest TV castings of the year. The Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal is set to headline The Last of Us from the showrunner. From the creators Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. It says, let's see here. It says, where did I? It says Pascal's Joel is tormented by past trauma and failure, must trek across a pandemic ravaged protecting a girl who presents the last hope for humanity. It does say this marks a homecoming for Pascal, who became a household name with his role in Game of Thrones also. It does mention the fact that he is also a part of The Mandalorian also. But yeah, guys, the fact that they wind up casting these two, I love the fact that it is a little bit of a Game of Thrones reunion here, even though, like you said before, they haven't really been on set together. It is pretty cool just to kind of see where their careers have taken them from starting off in some place like a Game of Thrones to now. So I love Pedro Pascal. I mean, regardless of how you feel maybe about Wonder Woman 1984, I really enjoyed him in the role as Maxwell Lord. I thought based off of maybe what the script asked of him, I definitely thought he put his best foot forward. So I've really been impressed with what Pedro is certainly doing here. And like Indy, you mentioned the idea here that there were maybe some worries of people kind of concerned about The Mandalorian. I'm not really concerned so much. The fact that the guy is practically hardly ever in the suit anyway, that he usually comes in to kind of do ADR work also after the fact. I mean, I'm sure he is on set periodically from time to time, but I don't think that certainly would take him away from being able to do another show in that, like The Last of Us. They have mentioned in here that he will continue to go ahead and actually do The Mandalorian. I'm trying to see where, I'm trying to go back to the article itself and see where I wind up reading that at, but oh, it says he will continue on the Star Wars series where he is used sparingly because of the nature of his character, though The Last of Us has him in the first position. So he will definitely be more of a actual lead for this particular series. And I think the fact that he is finished with a film like Wonder Woman, has finished up the press and, doing all the rounds and stuff like that, has probably opened up his schedule for a film like this or for a television series like this. So I love the two. I think they're going to have some great chemistry on screen together. That's really what I'm looking for. And I think that's probably going to be the most important. If anything, I would assume that they probably have already done some type of screen tests with them or some sort of a script reading to kind of see how they're going to get along with one another when it comes to filming this series. So I think this is a great pickup. Let me go over ahead and go to you first, Indy. What are your thoughts, man?
I'm 110% of what you just said. He is used very sparingly when it comes to Star Wars. So I feel like it's not going to affect anything that has to do with The Mandalorian, especially since we know we have the Book of Boba Fett coming before we get another Mandalorian season 3 coming. So he has plenty of time to get the Last of Us under his belt and do it. I mean, it's so simple now for, unless you're Robert Downey Jr., to be able to be a character that's in a suit most of the time. You know what I'm saying? I have to, worry about it. But I'm 110% for this. I think he is the perfect casting for this role. There's a lot of people mad it wasn't Hugh Jackman. I'm sorry, we can't get Hugh Jackman to do everything. He costs too much damn money. But this will honestly be good, and I'm really looking forward to it. To a game that I thought was good, that wasn't as good as the acclaim that it got. I am more hyped for the television show than the game, akin to how I was for The Walking Dead, coming off the comics and seeing it getting a show adaptation. I was super hyped for the show compared to where the comics were at that time.
Yeah, and for me, this will be my first introduction into the series. Honestly, I have not played the first two. I don't have a PlayStation, so I am very much behind. So for me, I'm really looking forward to being introduced to this world, especially by some amazing storytellers. I mean, from just what people have been telling me about the Last of Us series, it's a must play. The story is absolutely incredible from everything that I hear. So to combine that with another fantastic storyteller in Craig Mazin, for me, I'm ready to dive into this world and kind of sink my teeth into it a little bit and kind of come at it from a different angle than from you guys also. So yeah, what about you, Stuart?
Yeah, like pretty much. I definitely think that introducing this through the format of a being introduced to this world from the format of a television show is not a bad way to be introduced to the world. However, I still do recommend playing the game just because
I will eventually, yeah, for sure. I will eventually, yeah.
But also, one thing I am expecting to see become a meme after this show premieres is so this is a slight spoiler, but not a big one because this literally happens in the first minute of the first video game. Joel loses his kid essentially at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. So I could just see the meme coming out where it's Pedro Pascal with his kid in the beginning of the show, and then his then with Ellie, and then it's just being like, kids are good, but they can be better.
No.
No. I can see it for the fact that, you know what I'm saying, Grogu's gone. He basically lost Grogu, gave him up. They're losing this kid. Like, do not let this guy watch your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe this wasn't the best casting then. Yeah, Pedro doesn't have the best of luck when it comes to that. But listen,
then him and his kid in Wonder Woman 1984, he does not need to watch kids.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, he's just bad father figure, man. I'm telling you, something's going on with Pedro and his casting choices. Anyway, guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. You hear the two amazing castings for Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. We got Bella Ramsey, and we also got Pedro Pascal, both from Game of Star fame, and now getting the opportunity on a television show together. It should be pretty fantastic, guys. So I think this is going to be released on HBO Max. We don't have quite yet a actual release date for it as of yet, but we'll definitely keep you guys posted and any other casting announcements or anything like that, certainly going forward. So other than that, don't tell me when the smile. You ain't my daddy. Get out of here, Dino Russo. I can't stand when people say that. Why was Ellen Page recast for The Last of Us? She wasn't cast. That's just that was just fan theories and just, people holding out hope, to say the least. Yeah, what was that inspired from Ellen Page? Was that Elliot Page? I should say.
I think so, but also she's too old to play the role.
Yeah,
yeah, way too old.
And the fact that now he identifies as Elliot Page. I don't think he wants to be doing any more female roles anymore. At least that's my assumption.
Yeah, his name is Elliot Page now. So, listen, guys, at the end of the day, we want to know your A+ opinions. What do you think? Let us know in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And let's go ahead and start tackling our next topic for you guys today. We're going to start transitioning over to some television news here. One of the series, or at least when it comes to the upcoming fall season of CW, even though we are quite a ways away from that, there definitely are a ton of television series that are going to be in development. Around this time of the season, it is kind of known as pilot season, where everybody starts trying to put their best foot forward, present the studio, if you will, with brand new ideas, brand new shows that they want to go ahead and roll out. And a couple of shows have, in fact, been picked up for pilot order. And a couple of those shows we wanted to go ahead and speak with you in regards with today, because there are here that we have in fact talked about in the past. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This actually comes to us from variety.com, letting us know exactly, hold on one second, guys. Let me just move this around a little bit. I almost pushed the wrong button. So this comes to us from variety.com, letting us know that the Powerpuff Girls live action series is in fact among the CW pilot orders. Netflix, the network actually sets the 4400 reboot I believe they also picked up the Ava DuVernay pilot order for Naomi, the DC character that they're going to be exploring also. So let's go ahead and break down this Variety report here. It says that the CW has made an order for the 2021 and 2022 season, including a pilot order for the live action Powerpuff Girls. In total, CW announced 3 pilot orders and 1 straight to series pickup, which will in fact be the 4400 that's going straight to series pickup. The other 2 pilots that are for the DC project, we've got Naomi from Ava DuVernay, and then they have another, and then of course the Powerpuff Girl series. It says it was first announced as being in development way back in August, which we highlighted here. Based on the Cartoon Network series created by Craig McCracken, the new series sees the pint-sized superheroes as delusioned 20-somethings who resent having lost their childhood to crime fighting. Will they agree to reunite now that the world needs them more than ever? The rest of the article does go on. It does say that where's the Naomi? Oh, there we go. Naomi was announced as being in development in early December. The show follows a teen girl's journey from her small northwestern town to the heights of the multiverse when a supernatural event or Naomi sets out to uncover its origins, and what she discovers will change everything we believe about our heroes. So Ava DuVernay is in fact going to be putting together a pilot for Naomi, and if that pilot is successful, it will in fact be picked up. So Powerpuff Girls is in pilot. We've got Naomi is in pilot, but guys, there is one series that we have heard about that was supposed to be in development that no longer is. And unfortunately for us, if you were pumped about this series, not so much anymore. The CW is not moving forward with the Wonder Girl series. It says, on the bright side, readers will still be able to follow Yara Flor's adventures in the Wonder Girl comic, which launches this upcoming May. But it does say Wonder Girl won't take flight on the CW. Entertainment Weekly has confirmed that the network is moving forward, is not moving forward, I should say, with Wonder Girl, a show centered on the DC Comics Latin superhero of the same name. Rodriguez, who wrote the pilot script, announced the news Friday afternoon. And this is what she had to say. She says, some sad news for all of those asking. Wonder Girl is not being picked up at the CW. I was very proud of the script that I wrote. I wish I could have shared the world I created, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Thanks for everyone's enthusiasm. And I got to say, I definitely was kind of enthusiastic in regards to hearing that Wonder Girl actually might have a series for herself. So they're not moving forward with Wonder Girl. They have picked up a pilot for Naomi, a DC television character, and they have picked up the pilot for Powerpuff Girls. So guys, let me go ahead and throw this over to you first, Stuart. You hear the series and the titles that are being picked up. What do you think about those being picked up, and what do you think about the idea of us not getting a Wonder Girl series?
I'll start with my thoughts on the series that are being picked up real quick. So Powerpuff Girls, it does seem weird that that was the show that they chose to pick up, but I really am going to hold off my judgment until I see it, because as weird as the premise is to bring something like that into a live action CW show, I feel like there's got to be some really cool like vision that Greg Berlanti has with the show that we're just not quite seeing yet. Like I feel like if it takes a lot of guts to be able to pitch a show like that to a network, and it takes even more guts to be able to say, you know what, we're going to pick this up, even though we know that just the sound of it is going to piss a lot of people off. So I'm definitely going to hold off my judgment about that until I actually see this. My thoughts for the Naomi show, definitely looking forward to that. With this being like a character whose backstory is, you know, essentially traveling the multiverse in order to hide from like essentially a universe where like a bunch of evil people are looking for her because of her powers. I think there's potential to be able to use her as a bridge between a lot of the other shows that are all in their separate universe, but like still kind of connected to the DC multiverse, and even the movie universe as well. like I could see her easily, like while trying to like flee from the main villains, using her as kind of a way to connect her to like the Arrowverse, to like the movie universe, and then, you know, maybe even to Stargirl's universe as well, like that kind of a thing. I think that would be really cool if that's the direction that they went with her character. And, you know, assuming that just because it's on the CW, they're probably still going to be giving it a good budget like they did with the Superman show. You know, I definitely think there's a lot of potential with her character for sure. I am definitely kind of bummed about Wonder Girl not being picked up, just because, you know, it would have been kind of a whole new like area of the Arrowverse that they could have picked up, like the idea of them introducing Amazon warriors into the Arrowverse, and plus just, you know, having that kind of official confirmation that Wonder Woman exists somewhere there. We just haven't seen her yet, because we've already gotten like several Easter eggs to imply that she exists, but we've never like seen her or anything yet. So it would have been cool to like actually be able to have that like I guess finality is the word I'm looking for, of like knowing, you know, what the Arrowverse Wonder Woman would have been, what she could have been. So, you know, in that sense, I am definitely kind of sad. Plus, like, I read the Wonder Woman comic book with Yara that they released for
I really enjoyed it.
State. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but I did think that her personality would have worked a lot better as a teenager. So like now getting like an actual teenage version of that character, I do think it would have been a really fun character to watch, especially for the CW network. So it is too bad that they're not going forward with it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to wait for the Powerpuff Girls before I have any, at least I'm going to wait till I see a trailer before I have any judgment on what to expect from it.
Yeah, the when it comes to the Wonder Woman stuff for Future State, it is odd just because of the fact that it is almost like a random story that's just kind of thrown at you from the future, right? Like you don't really have the context of the backstory to kind of maybe go with it fully, if you will. So the Yara Flor stuff, you know, if you're not sure what to expect personality wise, it does hit you differently just because it just kind of takes place as a random adventure in this one person's life. But the idea that you know, we will be getting to see a younger version of her, you can definitely get to see her personality grow from Wonder Girl into the upcoming Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed the comic book series that we wind up getting from that. But you know, it's funny, Stuart, that you mentioned the idea that's of Wonder Girl, because a part of me is thinking to myself, like, does Wonder Woman, is she just cursed when it comes to television series, right? Like we've had a Wonder Woman pilot that was made a few years back with one of the, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played Mockingbird, if I'm not mistaken, like the first 2 or 3 seasons or something. She was supposed to be Wonder Woman, and that, even though they had the pilot, that show didn't get picked up. So I'm wondering if maybe they still have cold feet in regards to anything Wonder Woman related, and they see this kind of come across their way and they're like, I don't know, we tried this once, we weren't that successful at it, maybe we shouldn't go that route. But listen, I'm down for a Brazilian Amazonian princess. Let's go, man. Bring them on. But clearly we're not going to get one when it comes to television series, but we will be able to catch her in the comic books though.
Yeah. Or at least not yet. We could probably a year down the line, maybe the either the CW will change their mind, or maybe HBO Max will see the potential in it and pick it up.
Yeah,
But
that's what they're waiting on.
knows?
Well, let me go ahead and pass this over to you, Indy. You hear this news: Powerpuff Girls are picked up for a pilot, at least. They still haven't been picked up for a full season yet. Naomi's been picked up, but no Wonder Girl. What are your thoughts on that?
No Wonder Girl, no Painkiller. Let's get that right.
Oh, they haven't. We haven't even seen the episode itself yet. For the actual pilot episode itself. Remember that is supposed to be set up as a pilot this season.
Man, we didn't have a pilot episode for Superman and Lois, but we still got it.
I mean, yeah, some things go straight to season, but that doesn't mean that. I mean, it just means it's not guaranteed. That's all.
I'm just being picky. It ain't nothing. I'm just being picky for discussion's worth. Wonder Girl does not surprise me at all, because, and this is what's going to sound weird about about how I feel about the Pop Girls thing. For some reason, I feel it's hard to do the type of power set on television. They're having enough, you know what I'm saying? They have a hard enough time doing that power set in the movies for some reason. You know what I'm saying? They just think she just throws a going rope around all the time. Like they don't have a concept on the character of Wonder Woman to me to be able to bring, you know what I'm saying, Wonder Girl to a television series and actually be able to do it properly with that, depending on what the budget is too. Maybe they just feel like they can't do it with the budget they have. I'm hoping that's it, and they just didn't think that it wasn't going to work, because it would have worked if it looked right. That's the problem that comes to that. But I have the same issue with the Powerpuff Girls. If you can't get Superman and Wonder Woman powers right on screen, how the hell are you going to get the Powerpuff Girls powers right on screen? Because they are OP and obscene when it comes to power set. Not only that, you can't have Grodd in more than 2 episodes, but we're possibly going to have Mojo Jojo or him, or, you know what I'm saying, all these other extravagant villains. Because if we're not going to have the villains for the Powerpuff Girls, it's not going to be the Powerpuff Girls, because to be honest with you, the villains made that comic and they made that television series, period. If it's not for the villains, the Powerpuff Girls wouldn't be anything. Naomi, hats off, because that to me is going to be the next step up from Stargirl. For everybody that likes Stargirl and love the way it's shot, love the way it looks, love the way the story's told, I think you're going to get much more of the same when it comes to Naomi. It's just looking at things from a different light.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about like when it comes to what you were saying. I don't think I agree with you when it comes to the Powerpuff Girls, superpowers, only because we have seen now the CW being able to portray it with not only Supergirl, but like, when we look at the upcoming Superman and Lois, it looks like they have it down perfectly. Like, yeah, the green screen effects are going to look really cheesy, but honestly, as long as the actors can play it straight, I really don't mind cheesy effects, as long as the actors can go along with it and have fun and not feel really awkward about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they're going all out with it, it'll still be fine, I think. But when it comes to the villains, like you were saying, like how they might have to use certain villains sparingly because of computer effects, I mean, again, it goes to the fact that it may look cheesier, but I do think that a character like him and Mojo Jojo, I think you can do those with practical effects. When it comes to those weird germ things that want to be villains, but they suck at it, maybe not. Maybe those guys have to be done with CG. But I do think that a lot of the villains, you'd have to take a creative, different approach to them, but they could have a lot of potential to be done through the use of practical effects too.
No, go ahead, Andy.
Oh no, it's going to be interesting. I just when I say as far as like the power set, it's because when it comes to like Superman and Supergirl, the way they do it, they're not using their powers casually. You know what I'm saying? They normally use them when it needs to be used. The Powerpuff Girls are literally using their powers to go to the bathroom, or you know what I'm saying, to open the refrigerator. I'm curious to see the way they're going to take this, and if they just re-envision, you know what I'm saying, what the Powerpuff Girls are in general, similar to like what they did with Riverdale. You know what I'm saying, and different things like that. So I'm curious in how they're going to take it. It could be a Powerpuff Girls for a new age, or maybe they'll do it like it should be done, and it'd be something. I almost fail, and it'd be something where it's like envisioned for an older audience. You know what I'm saying, like teens, and it's not something that's specifically supposed to be marketed towards, you know what I'm saying, kids and stuff like that. And we'll get something that we could really just bite our teeth into, because they have done things when the shows that they done power sets on the best, and people hate this, have been their vampire shows. Whether it's been Supernatural, whether it's been Vampire Diaries, originals and stuff like that. If it's something in that lane, I'm 110% for it. I just want it to be done right, because I feel like this is something from our childhood that doesn't get enough respect for the way that it changed, you know what I'm saying, cartoon superheroes on television.
I'll give you this though. The one thing that I am really worried about with the Powerpuff Girls TV series, like I don't mind it being more mature than the cartoon. Like I don't mind it having mature themes. I really don't want them to do like a Sabrina Teenage Witch to it. Like I don't want them to make it a TVMA show where like they go for like, oh, we're dark and gritty. We don't have a good story along with it, but we're dark and gritty, so you won't care about how bad our writing is. You know, I hope they don't do that. I hope they can make it a mature show, but still make it entertaining if that's what they're going for.
We just cut Adam off like 4 times.
Sorry.
Hey, no, guys. Hey, say what you guys say, man. It's no big deal. No, for me, I'm actually looking forward to this. For me, when it comes to Powerpuff Girls, I like the premise of it. You know, when I go into this series just based off of the premise, I'm not expecting to get the animated series itself. Like, I'm not expecting villains each and every week. I'm not expecting them to blow their load with the budget for special effects each and every week. I do think that it is going to be an interpersonal discussion for themselves of having to get over the fact that they wasted a lot of their years being superheroes and not having time for themselves. So I do think that there will be serious elements in here. It may not be necessarily TV MA per se, but I do think it might be on levels of what maybe Indy talked about, maybe a mixture of Riverdale mixed in with a little bit of Arrowverse, right? That you can still put the type of attention to detail when it comes to special effects, you know, because Stuart, you just mentioned the idea that you see something like a Superman and Lois. We weren't expecting the show to look like that at all, and they wind up giving that to us. So it definitely makes me think that CW has an idea in their mind that they clearly want to do something different, and that they might want to actually try and put their best foot forward for a series like this. I think if you can get a really great cast, if you can put together a really great storyline element, I think you can have something really special here. And I don't, you know, again, I'm not expecting the format to be very similar to that of animation. I'm expecting like a 45-minute sort of long episode. So I'm expecting to dabble into some serious topics for these girls. Some really cool maybe battle sequences from time to time, but I kind of like the sound of it. Naomi, look, it's Ava DuVernay. I just give it to me already. I'm pumped for it. I have a feeling this is like, do we really even know to need a pilot at this point? Like, just go straight to series, please. I am bummed about Wonder Girl unfortunately not making it. I was really hoping that she would kind of get some shine, but maybe if she continues to grow on people, like you said, Stuart, right? Maybe there'll be bigger plans for her somewhere down the line. Maybe HBO Max is like, you know, this is our Wonder Girl, our Wonder Woman. Maybe we should give her a bigger spotlight on something like an HBO Max. So maybe she will get her opportunities at some point in time. But I feel like I'm definitely more optimistic about Powerpuff Girls than other people, even though it necessarily isn't something that I personally grew up with. My brother did type of thing, or at least it was like on Nickelodeon, you know, or whatever, Cartoon Network from time to time.
I'm gonna have to get up and leave now.
I mean, hey, if you watch Powerpuff Girls on a regular, man, that's on you. For me, it wasn't for me. Like, it just didn't appeal to me that way. But the episodes that I wind up Power Rangers, yeah. But like, for me, watching it with my brother, there definitely were moments that I absolutely loved. Like, I'm about to start a hashtag Liana Ramirez for, was it Buttercup? Or give me something. So I might go that route, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it though. I think CW taking something of 20-something-year-olds, I feel like it's a perfect marriage and a perfect storm for a CW show. Perfect, to be honest with you guys.
Oh my gosh. You just a thought came through my mind. Yeah. I think the Yellow Ranger from Beast Morphers, I forgot the actress's name. Yeah. She would be like perfect for Bubbles. Oh my God.
Do it. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Do some fan casting already.
Y'all gonna make sure these Power Ranger people still had jobs. Y'all gonna make sure they had jobs.
Absolutely, man. It's that Power Rangers area, but if you look at the animation, the powers are supposed to be super simple. And if they can't do the villains, the powers are going to look crappy. I mean, we don't really know. That's why I'm saying keep an open mind. You know, nobody expected Superman and Lois to look as fantastic as it certainly did. And when we saw it, we lost our shit.
Because they had to help Tyler out. He's been on the bottom of the Superman pole forever. They couldn't give him half-hearted effects. That man has been through the ringer for all the hard work he's been putting in for television Superman.
If you want Powerpuff Girls to be successful, you can't half-ass it either, man. So, you know, you got to put that same type of level and energy behind it. But listen, guys, we want to know your thoughts. Powerpuff Girls have been picked up for a pilot. Naomi has been picked up for a pilot. Again, no guarantee that we get series as of yet. And unfortunately, Wonder Girl not picked up. So we definitely want to know your thoughts at the end of the day in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that wrapped up, we'll move on to a little bit more DC television talk for you guys. And we were just talking about this here in just a second ago, the idea of Superman and Lois coming to us unlike anything that we've certainly seen before. The idea that the trailer really kind of gave us a different tone and vibe that I think many of us certainly weren't expecting going into a Superman and Lois show. It definitely felt like we were probably expecting another, budget level Arrowverse show, if you will. But it seems as though they're definitely going above and beyond to certainly make Superman and Lois rather special. And this week, ladies and gentlemen, the showrunner actually came out and talked out about that specifically. So let's go ahead and dive into this. This comes to us from Deadline.com, letting us know Superman and Lois's showrunner talks about the idea of bringing a cinematic groundedness to Arrowverse. It says the CW will introduce Superman and Lois to the masses on February 23rd with a 90-minute series premiere. During the TCA panel for a new standalone series, showrunner Todd Helbing, spoke about how the new standalone series is bringing a fresh perspective of the iconic comic book hero and journalist to the Arrowverse, one that may surprise many. It says from the start of the pilot, viewers may notice that the tone, look, and overall feel of Superman and Lois is dramatically different from other series in Arrowverse, but still keeps it at an arm's length away. So this is what the showrunner had to wind up saying. He says he and fellow executive producer Greg Berlanti talked about how they wanted to make Superman in general different. We talked a lot about shows like Everwood and Friday Night Lights, family drama with Superman in it. They go on to say, whenever you do any of these shows, you want to make them slightly different. We just approached this as much as we could like a feature, from the aspect ratio to the cinematography to the look to the design of the house and farm. We are competing with shows on cable and streamers. We wanted to be able to do that and offer audiences something of equal quality. And then Elizabeth Tulloch, who plays Lois, she says it was really grounded and really real. Part of what I'm hoping audiences respond to in our show is that this couple, even though she's this dynamic journalist and even though he's Superman, are incredibly relatable and are dealing with the same issues that normal people deal with. And that's really one of the biggest complaints that I think people have had when it comes to Superman, the idea of trying to make him as relatable as possible. But it seems as though this certainly might be what they're certainly going for here this season. So I just think that's pretty telling from the showrunner itself here, letting us know that they really approached it as a feature, and that the idea that they are competing with shows on cable and streamers and really wanted to do the best to offer something of equal quality to their viewers here. So Superman and Lois being a little bit more groundedness. I know, Stuart, let me go ahead and throw this over to you first, Stuart, considering the fact that you are going to be the one reviewing this show for us. What are your thoughts when you hear this coming from the showrunner itself?
Super excited because this is something that I really wanted to see from Superman for a long time. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw shade at Snyder or anything, just his fans, because some of them can be anyway, like a lot of them try to say that this is what Zack Snyder does with his Superman, that Zack Snyder makes his Superman grounded and relatable. Like, the one reason I would disagree with that is because Zack Snyder in some ways, has moments, I will give it, where I could see him trying to make Clark Kent try to feel like, he's not above everyone, by, like, there are small subtle things that Zack Snyder does, like they have him not flying to work but rather walking to work, things like that. He doesn't try to depict himself at work as being anything more than a journalist, so I'll give him that kind of thing. But the problem is the movie also fills itself with so many Jesus metaphors, where it's like you you can't really tell what tone Zack Snyder is really going for when it comes to his version of Superman. Is Superman in his version supposed to be a god or a human? It's so all over the place, you just don't know what he's trying to say, right? That's just my take. I know a lot of Snyder fans disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But with that being said, this show, it really does feel like they know exactly what this Superman is. He's a guy that uses his powers when he has to, for the world. But when it comes to, raising his family, when it comes to, his routine of working at the Daily Planet, he doesn't take advantage of his powers. He, approaches those things the same way you should as a human being, not as a superhero. In other words, it seems like this version of Tyler doesn't use his superpowers to take shortcuts, and that's one major thing that I look forward to with seeing in this new upcoming series. Absolutely love that they want it to be a family oriented show, because that's something I really loved about DC Rebirth, when it was Superman essentially being a dad, just raising one kid with superpowers, and that being a challenge in its own right. So now we're going to be getting a version of that where now he's raising two kids who possibly have superpowers, possibly don't, but both of them kind of dealing with their own drama in their own way. And not to mention the fact of him losing his job at the Daily Planet, again, kind of going back to the whole thing of Superman not taking shortcuts and not trying, because if he wanted to, man, he could easily just be an all-star athlete and then his family would be set for life. But he's not the kind of guy that would choose to do something like that. And it's one thing that makes him such a great character overall. So it is going to be interesting to see how Clark handles losing his job, and also with them moving back to the farm in Smallville. So many things about the show I'm looking forward to. I will say this, though, because it does sound like the way the article is presenting it as if this is the first time we've seen this kind of groundedness in the Arrowverse. But I'd argue that we saw a little bit of it within the beginning of Arrow, but then we still continue to see a lot of it in Black Lightning. So I definitely do disagree with them saying that this is the first time we're seeing this in the Arrowverse for sure. But yeah, I definitely really look forward to seeing what they bring to the table with the Superman show.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the idea of cinematic groundedness is different from just groundedness. Like when I think of groundedness, I do think of those other shows that you mentioned, but cinematically, I feel like this is probably the first time that I've seen them really push the envelope for CW itself, not like a DC Universe show coming over to the CW because it's been on a great budget, but the idea of them putting that type of money towards it, I don't feel like it's the same type of cinematic groundedness that I get when I watch something like a Black Lightning or Arrow. Is that what you were saying though? Is that what you were referring?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't referring to the cinematic. My bad. I just the groundedness. Okay, I misunderstood with the article what they meant. So yeah, if they mean cinematic groundedness, then yes, this is the way they film it, with especially like they brought up the kind of extra filters they bring to it, but also like the aspect ratio itself. Yeah, this is definitely the first time we've seen something like that on the CW, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let me get your thoughts too here, Indy. You hear what the showrunners are saying, like what they're trying to achieve with Superman, whether it be trying to make him as relatable of a character as possible, or even the way that they're presenting him in regards to the cinematic groundness and their ability to kind of compete with other television shows that are currently out there. What are your thoughts when you hear this article in general?
I think they're handling this the exact way that they honestly should. When taking a character that has this type of legacy, that has this type of power trips, you need to make sure that you can do something simple, but make it appealing enough that you're honestly showing the power set of the character off. It always doesn't have to be punching somebody through a wall to show strength. You know what I'm saying? Or getting shot, watching a million bullets fall off of you to let you know what I'm saying, how tough you are. It's more about slowly introducing the character back into the world, you know what I'm saying, TV version back into the world, but keeping it simple enough that every time the character does something new is surprising. Because the one thing about Superman is that you feel like he could do anything. So how can we make this feel new for the first time? And I believe that the approach that they're taking to it is going to bring newness to Superman on TV and film.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there, man. I think I am fascinated to see this grounded level of Superman. You know, when it comes to this one, I mean, this is definitely a completely different Superman than we see when it comes to like Man of Steel, right? Like this Superman here has a full-time job, has a family, has a wife, you know, has to support his kids and things like that. So they definitely have added elements to Superman's life that makes him very much more relatable for sure. So that is one aspect of this show I'm really looking forward to. But the idea of them doing a cinematic groundedness for me almost kind of makes me feel like even though we might be saying farewell to that Arrowverse side of you know, Berlanti's creations and stuff, I'm almost feeling like maybe they, you know, I was thinking that they would probably start cutting down the CW and when it comes to DC television shows, but I almost feel like I don't know if it's going to be like a phase 2 or what they're planning on doing over there at CW, but I just get the sense that they are kind of approaching a lot of their new series a little bit differently now. You know, not necessarily satisfied with you know, just the small budgets that they do have when it comes to their CW shows. Maybe they realize that some of our ratings are going down, right? We need to attract attention back to our channel for our television shows, especially if they're going to be competing with other cable providers and streamers and things like that. So I do feel as though maybe CW is a change of pace here, is trying to maybe come up with a new game plan, and maybe Superman and Lois is their first endeavor into kind of giving their shows a more cinematic groundedness. I mean, I get the idea of wanting to do that specifically for Superman. Now, whether or not that would go over to something like a Naomi, like I think if you're telling me Ava DuVernay is going to be working on something, I'm going to put that budget forward. So I'm wondering if Naomi will come out looking a little bit more cinematic groundedness to compete with other shows. And it does make me wonder if other television shows that we see announced will kind of have that same feel in an attempt for CW to get that attention back on them, since we've had to kind of say farewell to so many Arrowverse characters in the past. So do you guys think that that's a possibility, or do you think that this is something that they're just simply doing just for Superman and Lois because it is Superman, or do you think this might lead towards CW doing other things like this for their shows?
I think it's gonna for sure happen for not every future show coming to the CW, but I do think that if it's a show that they think is going to have a lot of potential behind it, they're definitely going to be putting that budget in for it. And I think Naomi is definitely a show that we can almost certainly expect that type of quality behind, because and I say that just because of who they got coming in for the show as the showrunner itself. So you know, I wouldn't put my money on it being on or I wouldn't bet that it would happen to like something like Powerpuff Girls, or if Wonder Girl got picked up, I also wouldn't think a show like that would probably have that kind of budget. But yeah, I do think if it's a show that they really have like high hopes for or high anticipation, we're definitely going to be expecting a lot more of that in the we can definitely expect a lot more of that in the future. My hope, probably not going to happen, but it would be kind of cool if for some of the shows, like during their final seasons, if that's the type of production they wanted to put behind it. So like, for example, as the Flash, you know, we know we have a couple more seasons of the Flash coming up, but when they hit their last season and they know it's going to be their last season, if they really wanted to end it with a bang, I think that would be something, that'd be a really cool way to do it.
That would be pretty cool. What do you think, Indy?
I'm thinking, honestly, it's going to be any show that has any connection to the show on HBO Max is what this is going to, this is the...
That has the potential to move over type of thing?
Yeah, it has a potential to move over, or you have a character that has a potential to cross over because you don't want, you know what I'm saying? Then to go over there and they're like, oh my God, this looks so much better over there. And they come back to their show and they're like, this is crap. I think they're just going to start leveling up with HBO Max as HBO Max makes more money. Because to be honest with you, I don't know how long these shows are going to stay on the CW. I think it's going to get to the point where where HBO Max is just going to start taking everything over. You will still have content on the CW, but I don't see as much of the content that we've been getting. I see all that getting ready to transfer over maybe in the next couple of years, no time soon, over to HBO Max to, you know what I'm saying, fatten their portfolio.
Yeah, you might be onto something there, man. For sure. That's what I'm looking forward to. I am kind of curious to see how CW handles a lot of their series being transitioned over to HBO Max. It does make me wonder I think Batwoman's already over there, right? I think majority of all their stuff. Do they still have stuff over on Netflix?
Yeah, all their Flash and basically anything that isn't Batwoman and Superman and Lois is on Netflix still.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know the DC Universe stuff is over there now also. But guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. Do you think that this is something that's going to be new for CW? Do you think they're going to put all this effort towards some of their other DC television shows that come through? Or do you think that this is simply just Superman? How do you like the idea of having a more relatable Superman? Certainly go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like today is the day of animation, fellas. In regards to some of the topics that we're bringing up here, one in particular that we have talked about last year that I find interesting that I want to go ahead and highlight here a little bit again. The Russo brothers, ever since their Marvel, their time with Marvel, they've kind of kicked off a couple of films themselves ever since departing the MCU. Hopefully, we'll see them back at some particular point in time. But they are in fact tackling something else. They have a very strong relationship with Disney, and Disney has now allowed them to tackle one of their properties as they plan on giving us a live action Hercules, ladies and gentlemen, a live action Hercules. But not only that, but they definitely do plan on at least trying to see if they can even expand upon that on top of that. So let's go ahead and get into this article here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I think we lost Indy. I think Indy went MIA for us real quick. But let me go ahead and pull this up here. And Stuart, I'm going to go ahead and put your face up there for now. So I'm going to have an empty seat on camera. But this comes to us from comingsoon.net, stating Hercules, Joe Russo teases live actions remakes franchise potential. So they clearly have big plans for this. It says in a recent interview with Lights Camera Barstool podcast, Avengers Endgame co-director Joe Russo has finally shared a new development update on Disney's upcoming live action remake of the 1997 iconic animated film Hercules. He revealed that project is still in early development stages, with writer Dave Callahan's potentially first draft of the script set to be completed rather soon. He confirmed that they're trying to create a story that would be able to expand within this universe, as Disney thinks that the live action Hercules has potential to become a franchise. This is what Joe Russo had to say specifically. He said, the script's about to come in a week. We've taken a lot of time and care with it. It's a movie that was really important to me and my kids, something that they watched when they were young. And so we've got a strong emotional connection to it. Our intention is to look at everything we do and think about how we can build it out. What can you do with this, that, what can you do with this that expands it, gives you different opportunities for storytelling in it? So we're going to go through that same exercise with Hercules. Can we build it out? Can we build a world out of this and that extends beyond it and would be compelling? And I think that's what audiences are craving, right? They want to see something really cool that they want to get lost in for a decade. So that's our mission, to provide them with that experience. It's still early, is what he's saying. So, Stuart, let's just talk about this here real quick. So Russo is explaining that the first draft of the script is coming in. It's still very much in early development, if you will. So certainly a lot to still do in the process, but they clearly seem as though they have plans on trying to expand this as much as possible. He talks about the idea of a 10-year plan, or at least people getting sucked into a franchise for 10 years, very similar to that of the MCU. Not to say that this would become as big as the MCU, but I do find it interesting that there is an emotional attachment here for Joe Russo. So when you hear this news, Stuart, what are your thoughts in regards to it? Were you a fan of the Hercules animated movie yourself?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed the animated Hercules film, and I do think I don't know about making an entire cinematic universe around it, but I do think that, yeah, there is definitely a huge franchise potential for a live action Hercules like series. Definitely. Like, personally, I'm speaking on a totally biased note, though, because I love Greek mythology personally. So I think, like, anytime you got a movie just set in that whole world, I'm all for it. So yeah, getting a whole, like, you could definitely pull off a trilogy easily with a Hercules character for sure. And if they're basing it on the Disney version of Hercules, there are definitely some really fun, creative changes that you could make to his backstory to make it more like family friendly, or if they decided not to, if they decided to be a lot more like the actual Hercules, either way, I think that the Russo brothers being the ones behind it definitely could lead to maybe not anything that would win any awards, but definitely at least a very fun franchise at the very least. And again, I don't see it being like the next like MCU, or I don't see it being like creating its own like cinematic universe, but I do see it being a great standalone franchise for sure.
What about you, Indy? You hear this stuff from the Hercules. Do you think they have potential to make this into a big franchise, and are you looking forward to this?
Hercules is one of the best Disney movies ever made. In my honest opinion, it's easily like top 4 when it comes down to it. So I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do to it. And I really think that it could be a whole universe with all the Greek mythology and the lore, everything Hercules. Think about it. How bad was that Kevin Sorbo Hercules television show, and how successful was it?
Oh, I loved it. It's iconic.
I mean, it came out at a time where a lot of television was bad. That was just kind of the standard for a live action television show. So
but it was good then, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It was the standard. Okay. It was it was a fun show for its time. But obviously, if you tried making that exact same TV show now, it would not get picked up at all.
When I look back at it, I look at Kevin Sorbo, like that's probably the worst possible person you can have play Hercules, like compared to how everybody looks now. But it spun off into a Xena warrior princess, you know what I'm saying, and created this whole, although it was only 2 shows, this whole universe. You know what I'm saying, that they had, and they could easily do a similar thing with animated Hercules with all the different gods. You know what I'm saying, everything like that. It'd be very interesting what they do. Now, the thing I got uber excited about, I heard the Russo brothers, and I thought this is what you were going to talk about. I really thought it was.
I got really excited. Gathering movie?
They're doing a Magic television series for Netflix.
I did not know this. Wow.
So
now is it set in that Magic Dungeons and Dragons universe, or is it just a show about people playing with trading cards?
It's an actual animated like an anime about Magic the Gathering. Like the actual word business. But so I say that to say this. The Russo brothers have been on a run since Winter Soldier, and they're not stopping anytime soon. They're taking franchises and adapting them into amazing things, and I haven't seen them take a loss yet. So anything they do, I'm gonna say, even before it comes out, I'm gonna say it's a win.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel that. Adam, you're muted.
Go ahead, Stuart.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I definitely feel that because the moment Endgame was done, it felt like that was when they're just kind of like, oh, cool, we're no longer under Marvel's contract, which means we can actually do other things that we're really interested in as well. So that's when you got, I want to say it was even less than a year after that movie came out. You had the movie 21 Bridges come out, which you could tell was like a film project that they were really excited for. And then you also have, I believe they were doing a Netflix show as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of amazing. You can tell they definitely have a real passion for filmmaking in general. So it is really cool how many projects they're somehow able to juggle all at once. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this movie for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I haven't really seen the Russo brothers stuff outside of the MCU yet, so I might have to tackle some of their films. I just heard some bad things about them, so just like really underwhelming things, I should say. Not that they were bad movies, but more underwhelming. I think it's some of the things that I've heard, but I haven't had the opportunity to check it out for myself as of yet. So that's why I'm saying I haven't watched it. So I don't want to be a judge or anything like that in regards to their movies. I will say this, like just hearing this article alone, though, the fact that he seems super passionate and connected to this film, something that him and his children kind of grew up in. And I feel like anytime that you tackle a passion project, you're really going to give your all and definitely pay utmost attention to it. So I definitely do think that the Russo brothers are going to take very good care of this Hercules character. And I love the idea of Greek mythology and being able to, like you guys mentioned, being able to bring in all these different characters, whether they be adversaries, whether they be enemies or villains. I think there's a lot of fun to certainly be had in a live action format when it comes to that. You know, I am kind of curious as to what the production value or level is going to be in here. I would love to see some really cool, even though it is going to be a live animation, just going back and thinking of the movie, I would love to see some pretty unique designs for some of these characters going forward. So I'm hoping that there's a really either a great filter over this film, some really great costume designs, character designs, whether that be live action mixed in with animation a little bit to kind of put it over the top with that Greek mythology aspect. I think this could be really, really fun. Like, if I know people have complained about the idea of like remakes, more remakes, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're giving us another Disney remake. I think if there is a Disney remake to get hyped about, it's definitely going to be this one, especially if we ever find out who they're going to be casting for the Hercules role. That should be pretty fascinating to see kind of going forward. But yeah, I'm all for it, man. I think Russo having a connection to this series, I think they're going to do some fantastic things with it. Now, whether it can be a huge franchise, I think you could probably get like easily like a trilogy out of this, maybe even a spin-off series on Disney Plus if you certainly wanted to, if it's successful. You know, I don't know if to the levels of MCU, like, you know, like that we compared it to. At least he just said something that you can get involved in for the next decade or next 10 years or so. And then MCU just kind of came to mind. But I think you can have a lot of fun with this. 3 movies, maybe a series in 10 years. Give it to me, man. I'm all for it.
I also wouldn't mind if they took this approach where, you know, not that I have anything against musicals or anything like that, but if they didn't make it a musical, but instead they decided to have like a lot of the really famous songs like Go the Distance and everything, if they played that in a orchestra kind of way as like background music for like the montages, kind of like what they did with Mulan.
I like that idea. That's a privilege.
That is a great idea. It's just only one thing they need to do and it'll make me happy is that The Rock needs to play Zeus.
That would be great. That would be funny because he played Hercules in another film, which I actually find that film underrated. I'm just saying that movie's a lot better than people gave it credit for.
Rock Hercules one?
Yeah. It only made 244 million. It made 244 million on I think $100 million budget, but that was a really good depiction of Hercules being more of a myth. You know what I'm saying? It being more of a man, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole myth thing where he was a man who was living through myths. But it was, I love the way that they did that. You know what I'm saying? And it was more about the morals of the man rather than, you know what I'm saying, the strength that was given to him from the gods.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to add it to my watch list, man, and check it out. I haven't watched that one before.
You haven't watched that?
No, it looks for the movie.
No, the trailer looks terrible.
Very
misleading. The trailer looks terrible. Like no, I did not watch it based off the trailers. I'm like, no.
Okay. So there's one scene in the trailer that is actually.
Don't blame me for not seeing it. Blame the trailer.
Canon, like, let me put it that way. There's one shot in the trailer that's actually canon to the movie. Everything else you see in the trailer is there for the trailer and not actually like, because you see it in the movie, but it's not canon to the movie. You'll see what I mean when you watch it.
Okay. I'll look into it.
And Mrs. Jon Snow was in it. That's all that matters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is he? He's in that movie too? Okay.
That's like Mrs. Jon Snow.
Okay, good. Is in the movie? Okay. Oh, man, I'll have to give it a shot then. I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, we want to know your thoughts. You hear this, the Russos have big plans for Hercules live action. They want to turn it into a franchise of their own. What are your thoughts? Do you think Hercules has that potential? And would you be excited for a live action Hercules? Go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And we got 2 more topics left. We're actually going to start transitioning into some Marvel talk for you guys, as we just finished talking about the Russo brothers here. We have some development in a future Marvel movie that's going to be coming our way rather soon. We finally have some additional movement when it comes to Captain Marvel 2. So far, we do know who some of the cast members are. We clearly know Brie Larson's returning. We also know that Teyana Paris from WandaVision is certainly going to be in there, I believe, by Nia DaCosta. I believe the young lady who plays Miss Marvel in the MCU series, she too is going to be in the Captain Marvel 2 film. but we have somebody else, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and break this down for you guys. This actually comes to us from Deadline.com, saying that perhaps the villain has been found for this particular film. This comes to us from Deadline. It says Captain Marvel 2, Zawe Ashton tapped to play a villain in the Marvel sequel. This is an exclusive. It says, as pre-production ramps up for Captain Marvel 2, Brie Larson looks to have found her next co-star she will square off against, as sources tell Deadline. Velvet Buzzsaw's Zawe Ashton has been set as the villain in the next installment in the Marvel franchise. Nia DaCosta, who directed the anticipated reboot of Candyman, has been tapped as the director of this film. It does say here that Megan McDonald, the story editor of WandaVision, penned the script for this upcoming sequel. And then again, Miss Marvel star Iman Vellani and Tiana Paris will also be on board. While the exact character is unknown, sources do say that Ashton will be the main villain, though as we know with all Marvel films, there is always a chance the other antagonists may remain hidden until the very end of the film. They also say Ashton was part of a TV series, Fresh Meat. She was also recently seen on Broadway as well. So I don't know if you guys have seen Fresh Meat or Velvet Buzzsaw, but regardless, Zawe Ashton has in fact picked up the title role of the villain for this movie. Now, whether or not she's going to be the only one, who certainly knows, but I'm glad to see that we have some movement kind of going on when it comes to this film. I do want to ask you first, though, Indy, here, do you happen to have any ideas as to who she could potentially be playing, or who you would like to see her playing? If not, what do you think about the casting choice here?
I think the casting choice is dope. I have absolutely no idea who she's going to play with makeup and CG and stuff like that. Her plain Jane look, you know what I'm saying, as hers herself. I can't ping her to a character, like any particular character has any characteristics of her. So I'm thinking she's going to be playing somebody that maybe does wear some type of makeup, or it's going to be some type of CG aesthetic. Because just think about it. When you look at when you look at Zoe Sonata and when she plays Gamora, you know what I'm saying? Like you really have no idea on how they're going to do it. With it's possibly going to be an alien. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking Kree, Skrull, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. So I'm thinking heavy makeup. I have no idea. With the way I could possibly tell you after WandaVision ends, or, you know, like as this stuff ends, I might have more clues on who she's possibly playing. But as of right now, with not even knowing what is really going on with Captain Marvel 2, I can't even take an educated guess.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I'm glad that you did mention Skrull. There is an option there when it comes to Skrull. Queen Varanki. It says there are rumors that Marvel is planning a secret invasion story in the MCU, which we clearly know that there is a secret invasion series about to drop. If Marvel's intention isn't to give its own movie or Disney Plus series, I guess this article was written prior to that, it says it could be that Marvel will make it a plot for Captain Marvel 2. If so, the villain of the film would likely be characters who orchestrate the Skrull's invasion of Earth. It says the Skrull responsible for that was the evil Queen Varanki, who also used her abilities to masquerade as Spider-Woman for years in the comic book series. So in Captain Marvel 2, she could take a form of a different superhero or a high-ranking government official. So a good suggestion, at least in regards to maybe her being a Skrull. But with us not really having too much information, it might be kind of hard to predict that as of right now. But what about you, Stuart? You hear this this article here that Zawe Ashton has been cast as a villain, whether or not be the main villain or second villain, who certainly knows. But what do you think about the casting choice here? And do you have any suggestions as to who she could potentially play?
Casting, I don't really have an opinion on, just because I haven't seen her in anything, at least not that I know of. I'll have to check out her IMDb page later to make sure. But so as of now, kind of neutral about it. But as who she could potentially play, like I have a couple ideas, like, you know, like you guys said, the Skrull Queen, and especially if this is all leading up to Nick Fury's spinoff series, I could see this being a really good tie-in for that for sure. And then the other possibility is the I forgot if this character was given a name. We know that this character wasn't given a face, though, and that was the kind of leader of the Kree. who constantly would speak to Captain Marvel like through her mind. I could see someone like her like actual like visual appearance being this actress, if that's the direction they wanted to go with. But you know, those are like the only two real ideas I have right now for who it could be. Other than that, yeah, I have absolutely no idea what villain they might be going with the Captain Marvel movie, mostly because I never read that many Captain Marvel comic books.
Yeah, I haven't read that many myself personally also. So her rogues gallery is pretty thin to me. I literally had to look up some of the characters that she's probably fought that have had some impacts in regards to her storylines in her life over the years also. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with Zawe Ashton. Maybe I'll definitely go ahead and check out some of these suggested films or series of her. Was it Fresh Meat and then something Buzzsaw? I can't remember. I'll look it up though. If I had to, based off of just some of the things that I'm reading here as far as character goes, there is a character by the name of Moonstone. Her name is Carla Sofin, was a devious psychologist who acquired a strange crystal that imbued her with superpowers. As Moonstone, Carla joined the Masters of Evil and fought with the Avengers on multiple occasions. She became a ruthless villain who was willingly to do whatever it took to get what she wanted, and she concocted various schemes designed to defeat her foes. She even manipulated and discarded characters like Blackout, who she used as pawns in her plans. And then she says, after joining the Thunderbolts and going through a brief period of wanting to reform, it looks like she returned to her villainous ways and joined the Dark Avengers. And the only reason why I bring her up is you're just looking at maybe something like the trailer of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the return of Baron Zemo. If they ever wanted to hint at the idea of maybe doing something for Thunderbolts, I just thought that maybe that would be a pretty cool way of at least throwing one of those characters in there if they eventually plan on building her up. So again, these are just all speculation, some ideas for Captain Marvel characters or villains for them to go ahead and tackle if that's the route that they certainly want to go. But I'm just glad to see that pre-production is continuing along here, and I feel like they've got like 3 or 4 people already cast outside of Brie Larson for this. So it feels as though they're very much on their way to hopefully begin filming rather soon here.
Yeah, in fact, if that's the character they chose to use, that'd be perfect for the rumors that have been around since Endgame, which is the idea of a either Thunderbolt movie or a Dark Avengers movie that have been in the works, that people have been rumoring is in the works. So we don't know for sure, but it would be a really cool way to help set it up for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. But guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. Are you familiar with Zawe Ashton's work? If not, who do you think that she could potentially be playing in the Captain Marvel 2 film? Definitely go ahead and let us know your thoughts in regards to that particular film in the live chat or gentlemen. And last but not least, guys, we're about to move on to our very last topic. Now, this is something that Indy already tackled for us very early on in the week. He did actually go ahead and post his video in regards to giving his thoughts, but I'm sure he'll definitely go ahead and chime in here also when we talk about it. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. March 19th, if I'm not mistaken, that Friday, literally the day right after we wind up getting Zack Snyder's Justice League, we will in fact be getting ourselves the Falcon and Winter Soldier television series. This week, we wind up finally getting ourselves a very first, I don't want to say a first look, but a trailer, an official trailer for it. So we wanted to go ahead and give you guys our thoughts in regards to it. But before we do, make no mistake, Entertainment Weekly did at least drop a great article talking to Sebastian Stan along with Anthony Mackie and the showrunners for this film, and really to give us an insight as to what we can expect on top of the trailer that we just recently got. So let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. This comes to us from Entertainment Weekly. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we've got Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan tease the odd couple chemistry of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it says Sam is grappling with with what it might mean to carry on Cap's role, which meant Mackie had to learn how to throw that oversized red, white, and blue frisbee. He says, I didn't realize how heavy it was, he admits with a laugh. A 10-pound weight hanging off your arm is not the easiest thing to deal with. No wonder Chris Evans was so swole carrying around that damn flag everywhere, that shield everywhere that he wound up going. It also says here, Captain America's legacy looms over the next Marvel live action show, which follows Sam and his surly metal arm friend in Bucky as they face new threats ahead of the show's debut. They got the opportunity to speak with them, and the two stars tease the 6-episode series as part action-packed superhero epic, part awkward buddy comedy. There's an odd couple like kind of back and forth there, like I don't really like you, but I might need you type of scenarios, what they refer to it as. They also say that there's a real chemistry there. He says, imagine getting to write the first installment of a buddy cop series, knowing exactly what the rhythm and flavor is with these two characters, even before you start, if you will. So I think that's pretty fascinating here. And then we also have it looks like Anthony Mackie talking a little bit too, because it says both Sam and Bucky have spent most of their screen time in sidekick roles, but the new series will dive deeper into each man's psyche. Sam is wrestling with the after effects of the Infinity War and what it means to take what it might take to become the next Captain America, a role that the rest of the world may not be ready to embrace. And he says the idea of whether or not a black man could become Captain America just felt like a huge moment and an opportunity for them. They also have a returning Daniel Brawl, who's going to be Baron Zemo in here. We see Emily Van Camp's coming back also as Sharon Carter. And then they also highlight the idea that we didn't lose that feeling of security and espionage. It feels like you're in a Philip K. Dick novel or Tom Clancy movie, but at the same time, it's Sebastian and I, and we're idiots, so we get to be more of ourselves. I gotta admit, man, I love the sound of this. On top of the trailer that we just literally wind up watching, one of the things that jumped out to me was just their chemistry, whether it was just the clear idea that they're getting on each other's nerves, the idea that they're literally in therapy with each other to kind of get over the, whatever issues that they have, the ridiculous ridiculous staring contest that they have at the end. Also, it really does add to the idea that they have a flavor. They already have sort of a chemistry that's been built up between these two characters over the years with the MCU. So to be able to come in and give us that buddy cop feel, but also fit in with the amazing action-packed sequences that we clearly see we're going to be getting in here, it certainly feels as though there definitely will be Winter Soldier vibes all throughout this, mixed in with just the great chemistry and hilarity that is Sebastian and Anthony. And I think they make a great duo on screen together. I mean, we've seen it already in the past Marvel movies also. So for them to get their shine here, I think is great. And the storyline certainly sounds like it's going to be something that's going to be pretty compelling also. So let me throw this over to you first, Stuart, and then we'll come to you, Indy. You hear this stuff coming from Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. You had the opportunity to check out the trailer. What jumps out at you, sir?
Yeah, so looking at the way he describes the chemistry, definitely kind of just gives me the vibes of Captain America Civil War in that one scene that you kind of see the two of them in together, where like they're both in the car and you just have one of them in the back going, can you move up your seat? The other one going, no. Like that's kind of like how I'm feeling the entire show is going to be, which could potentially be really fun and enjoyable to watch. It just means that, the one thing that I kind of worry about is that could be fun at first, but I could see that joke getting old if that's all they go with for the entire show, if that's all their chemistry is. But also knowing Marvel and the way they develop their characters, I can definitely see it turning into something a lot more than that by the end of the series. And I got to say, the number one thing that stuck out to me in this article was the fact that he says that this show is going to be like a Tom Clancy novel, that it feels like something straight out of a Tom Clancy novel, because that actually gets me really excited about this, because it definitely seems like, looking at the trailers and then looking at what they're how they're describing it in this, definitely like what you were saying. This gives me major Winter Soldier vibes for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a smart move on their part, considering the huge success of Winter Soldier. Why not bring in certainly what worked, right? And considering these two they're both of their pasts, I feel like it's a perfect fit for them. Indy, you've had the opportunity to already kind of talk about the trailer, but if you want to talk about it further, what are your thoughts in regards to that, but also this article and what you're hearing from Anthony and Sebastian?
Okay, first up, I'm kind of perturbed that March 18th to you is Snyder Cut Day. That is my 38th birthday.
No, I'm just comparing release dates, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and when this show drops, this amazing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it would have been 13,881 days I have been waiting on this, that I have been alive. So I'm all for this. I think this series is going to take a quick turn. I think you'll get the buddy stuff or the getting on each other's nerves from the beginning, but I do believe you're going to have a push apart of these two, that they're not going to be on the same page, and then by the end of the series they come back onto the same page. I really feel that they're putting out there that Bucky does not feel worthy of himself, you know what I'm saying, to hold the mantle of Captain America, because everybody would have thought that Bucky would have been the one to get it. We all know why Falcon got it, because of the pure heart, everything he was doing. He was the man that has all the tools and needs to lead, but he doesn't like being responsible for anything. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want the responsibility of living up to his idol, this man that he idolized, because he doesn't feel like there's another person be able to do it. And Bucky's judging that the entire time. And I really feel like there's going to be a breaking point where Bucky just goes, you can't do it. You can't do it. I can't do it. So let somebody else do it, because we're not going to be able to do it. And you're going to have that Falcon redemption story where he has to prove that he can hold that mantle. So to me, I believe out of all the series that we're going to get, we're going to be entertained by Loki. You know what I'm saying? As long as Samuel L. Jackson drops the F-bomb once, you know, we're going to enjoy anything he does. WandaVision is off to an amazing run, but I feel like this individual show right here is going to be the one that has the best writing and the best direction moving forward, because I believe this is the one that sets the tone for what we're going to get. Even though WandaVision is setting the tone for what, you know, like what's going to happen, this is going to set the tone for what we're going to get out of the MCU, because this is going to set the tone for who's leading our Avengers.
I think this is definitely, I mean, I definitely agree with you in the sense that it'll certainly set the tone, but I don't know if it's going to set the entire tone. I am very much under the impression that I don't want to say have multiple storylines kind of going on, but I definitely feel like when I look at WandaVision, like I feel like her trajectory of her story is going to be told WandaVision, Doctor Strange, and somehow maybe ramifications affecting in Spider-Man, right? Like when it comes to Falcon and Winter Soldier, I am wondering if that'll set another sort of storyline for these characters off into something else that we wind up kind of getting. So I feel like MCU is kind of giving us a little bit of flavor of everything. Maybe definitely not one overarching thing as of right now, but maybe establishing these characters in their own kind of trajectory for a while now. So for a while going forward. So it should be rather interesting. I have a feeling it's going to be really well balanced in regards to not only just action, but it's comedy also. So I am definitely looking forward to that. The trailer for me blew me away. I love the sequences of Falcon flying. I love that kind of I don't want to say that GoPro shot, but it's the facial shot of Falcon while he's actually flying. I thought that was a pretty cool shot also. I think somebody referenced the idea that the city that we see introduced in here with the skyscrapers and the different colors, I heard somebody say that that's Madripoor from like the most notably known from like X-Men comic books, like the island and stuff. I am wondering if that in fact is going to be Madripoor. So it feels very sort of underground-ish, if you will, right? Kind of go into the underbelly of the world, if you will, to find whatever it is that he's trying to find. So I'm looking really forward to it. That, and of course the return of Baron Zemo. The fact that we're getting to see his storyline continued here from Civil War to hopefully make yet another fantastic impact. I hope he wins or loses at the end of this series. I hope he has another impact on these characters, very similar to how he did with Civil War for sure. And he's got the mask.
To be totally
Yes.
yeah, Yes, to be totally honest with you, and people hate my opinion on this. Thanos might have been the best foe, like that all the Avengers had to go up against because he was just that powerful. But man, Ultron and Baron Zemo has such an effect on you know what I'm saying, the teams in general. You know what I'm saying? Like Zemo basically tore them apart. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Ultron did the same thing. Ultron put the wedge in there, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like Zemo just tore them apart. To me, they had a greater effect than Thanos because Thanos pulled them back together and fused them together. But man, the plans that those two had, especially Zemo, without having any superpowers to be able to tear that team apart, what to me makes him one of the best villains that we done had in the MCU because he did very little but create doubt. That's all he did was create doubt.
And also, I mean, you could say that he kind of ushered in the floodgates for Thanos to take full advantage of this situation. You know what I mean? I mean, had Zemo not had the effect that he did, who's to say that the first time, you know, who's to say that they don't assemble a lot quicker, you know what I'm saying, and sort of get ahead of what's coming when it comes to Thanos. So we certainly could have had a completely different situation if not for Zemo. So you definitely make a good point. What else were you going to say, Stuart?
Oh, I was going to say 100% agree with not the Ultron side of things, just because I think Ultron, if anything, really brought the team together at the end. But with Zemo, definitely, because the thing is, when you look at Infinity War, the number one thing that they weren't prepared for with Thanos is the fact that you had Captain America and Iron Man on completely different pages, and that's what ended up getting them screwed over in the end. Or sorry, there were many factors of why they lost that battle at the end, but that was like, I think the main one was the fact that they weren't together as a team. And what makes Zemo so fascinating is that unlike the other really great villains that we've gotten in the MCU, he is just a dude. Like, he did all this as like just a regular human being. Like, he wasn't skilled at fighting. He wasn't, he didn't have any magical powers, you know? So even though, yes, Thanos technically, you know, had the biggest impact by wiping out half the universe, he also did that being a Titan and having this gauntlet with infinite power. Whereas Zemo had nothing. He didn't even have an agency like that. He didn't have like mercenaries working under him or anything like that. He was just a dude, and he did this all out of just, you know, pure revenge. So now that we get to see him and he seemingly actually has resources behind him now, I'm very intrigued to see what kind of threat we're going to see him become in this TV series.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering too if it's going to be a case of are we going to be getting ourselves a formation of the Thunderbolts here? You know, one of the speculations that have been going around is that we've perhaps might have even seen, say, a potential Songbird in this trailer somewhere. I don't really know if that's legit or not, but we've actually seen this this girl before. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring up a picture for those of you who I'm referring to here. Again, this is just simply a theory. I'm not sure if it holds any water whatsoever, but Erin Kellyman, this is Erin Kellyman, ladies and gentlemen. She was in the Solo movie also, and she's actually in this Falcon. And she's the one that's actually putting the mask over her face that Falcon winds up making fun of Bucky about, talking about she kicked your ass. I think that's who he's referring to. But some of the theories that I've been hearing is that potentially that might be a future Songbird at some point in time from the Thunderbolts. But what would you guys think of that if they were the formation of the Thunderbolts start beginning here?
I think if there was ever a show to introduce them, this is the right one to do it.
This is definitely the right show to do it, and it's the right time to introduce them to, when you have basically our heroes are at their weakest point. They have no leadership. They're really not together, and just to get out the air, I 100% blame everything that happened in the MCU before Infinity War on Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
because she made a promise to a little girl that she would always protect them, and she would always be there, and through all this crap she wasn't there. But we don't know why. We still I don't care. You broke your promise, Carol. That's all that matters. You broke your promise to a little girl.
Maybe it was out of her hands. But that's definitely going to be a storyline, though. That definitely is going to be a storyline for sure. You're absolutely right.
So,
Absolutely
but
right.
it's going to be very interesting in how they do this, and it is very rare that in movies and television that you trust somebody to do something right, no matter you know what I'm saying, what they're doing. How many times do we sit here and we talk about our certain CW shows? We talk about certain stuff that we watch. We talk about, man, if they would have just did this, or they could have did this better. How often do we do that about the MCU? It's not very often. We normally just trust Mr. Kevin Feige and everybody that he employs and everybody to just go out there and just do the right thing. So they haven't had a hiccup yet, really. They haven't had a bad hiccup yet. I don't count Dark World.
I was going to say, yeah, because even like their movies that aren't great, they're not bad enough to really set them back or anything like that.
I think they just got a measuring stick and they was like, is it better than He-Man? Then we're good.
Now their measuring stick should be Ant-Man and the Wasp too, but that's just me.
Yeah,
is it better than this crappy movie? Okay, I'm just kidding. I know some people like that,
and that was still better than He-Man.
It was better. It was better, and I love He-Man, man. Are you talking about Dolph Lundgren's He-Man?
Yeah, I'm talking about Dolph Lundgren. I call him Thundering, Dolph Thundering, because you know what I'm saying. He had them thunder biceps.
Dude, he was huge back in the day. Yeah, I was a huge fan of that movie growing up as a kid. For me, it was my cult classic. I think I own it somewhere on DVD around here somewhere.
I definitely have no VHS.
Yeah, I definitely own it. But I will say this, man. The trailer got me even more hyped for it than I thought I certainly was going to be. I mean, I was already looking forward to it, but I felt like as far as like my most anticipated one out of all of them, I don't know if it was in like my top 2, maybe in my top 3 or so, but I gotta tell you, the trailer literally lift my hype up for this television series, and I cannot wait for it to certainly get here, and it'll be here before we know it. We got 3 episodes left of WandaVision, then they'll be wrapping that up, and then boom, right into Falcon and the Winter Soldier starting March 19th. So if you guys don't have a Disney Plus subscription yet, do yourselves a favor, man, go ahead and get that Disney Plus. You definitely won't be disappointed. But other than that, guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. These are just our A+ opinions. What did you think about the Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer? What did you think about the article? Are you pumped for it? Definitely go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the live chat or comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, I think that's all of our stories today. So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up here with some honorable mentions with your live viewer questions, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're doing pink today to celebrate Valentine's Day. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Let's go here. We got a couple questions. Jessica Friedman, or Single Awareness Day for Indy. When do you think Young Justice Season 4 will come out? And would you like to see a new Batman Beyond animated series one day? Batman Beyond animated series part 2? Anybody?
The first one ended so well. The way they ended that story ended so well with him finding out how he was born, how he was created. I don't know if I want a part 2. I would like to see him. If they do, I want to see him similar to what every other Batman does. It's time to take up a sidekick and teach them the ways of the Bat. So if they're gonna do it, I want it to be something on that lens.
Okay, I agree with Indy. Like, I mean, technically it was the Justice League episode, but yeah, like the way they like wrapped everything up in that world of Batman Beyond was absolutely amazing. It's still like, to me, one of the best episodes of all of the DC animated shows out there. So I definitely recommend checking out Justice League Unlimited, the episode called Epilogue. That is the amazing Batman Beyond wrap up, essentially. But anyways, yeah, I feel like it wrapped up so well that I don't really want a continuation of that. I'd rather just see a live action adaptation of it, whether it be through a TV show or through a movie.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I don't necessarily need another animated series of it. If you are going to give me anything of it, give me live action, baby. You know, they've talked about the idea of maybe wanting to do spinoffs of a lot of their new projects that they're going to be coming out of. Listen, if you want to tease Batman Beyond, let's get a spinoff right after Flashpoint, man. I'll be completely down for that. Do you think Young Justice Season 4 will come out? Do they have plans for it?
I've heard no news, heard nothing about it. The way they ended it, they left it to where that could be the end, or they continue going with something else. So I think it just depends on if they want to put something else forward. But it wouldn't be smart not to, with how well they did streaming wise. Bringing something like that to HBO Max could spike subscriptions.
Possibility
Yeah.
for sure, man.
Yeah, we still don't have a release date that I know of, but we do have, we have the title. It's been out for a while, called Phantoms. But as far as I know, we still don't have a release date. But yeah, it is confirmed to be coming to HBO Max.
Okay, good. Phantoms of the Opera.
Okay, so, yeah, there you go. Phantom
Or Mask of the Phantom. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be better.
All right, let's see here. Next question from I'm handsome, dude. Last week on Hero Report, you made a point that Batwoman and Superman and Lois will be the main two focus for a while. The Flash is basically Arrow now, lots on his shoulders. I mean, yeah, the Flash is always going to be at the forefront, each and for sure. But I think it's the idea of taking the other characters that you have and definitely pushing them forward and still trying to make them the head of CW when you've lost a lot of your shows like Black Lightning, like Arrow and Stephen Amell and Cress Williams, right? You got to have those people that are willing to kind of step up and kind of take the forefront. So yeah, I do think that Superman and Lois and Batwoman definitely will be sort of as part of the main focuses. But definitely make no mistake, the Flash is the focus at this particular point in time when it comes to DC television for sure. What do you guys think?
I think that they're going to be, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But yeah, I think that they're going to be pushing Superman and Batwoman to be kind of like the head, like kind of to be the like main parts of the CW going forward, only because not only are they going to be like big on the CW, but they're also going to be the shows that go to HBO Max. So I would assume they're, even though the Flash isn't going to be ending anytime soon, I feel like they're going to be more heavily promoting those two shows.
The Flash is the most beloved show, but they always go to the SMB. They always go to the Shield and to the Bat for anything to push them to the forefront. But to be honest with you, I honestly think it's going to be Superman and Lois and Stargirl that will be the standouts and be the ones they push forward. Stargirl was really impressive. It had a really good showing, and Batwoman is still in that filling out stage where I don't know if the story doesn't fall off and the writing stays as good as they're doing it right now, to be okay. But they're still in that reset stage. It almost feels like it's a pilot season again. So I don't know if people are going to stick around for Batwoman like they're going to come running back to Stargirl. And you'll see that when Stargirls will come back in the promos and stuff, they start running for that.
Good point. I'm glad you brought up Stargirl, man. That was a good suggestion there. Yeah, not to say I forgot about her, but considering the fact we only have like one season, sometimes 13 episodes or something like that. Yeah, sometimes I forget that she's even there sometimes, man. So good point. I'm glad you brought her up because she definitely does seem as though she'll certainly be a huge focus. Do you think we'll get Warren Christie back as fake Bruce Wayne and Batwoman? And do you think he was killed off too quickly? Why do you think we can't have real Bruce Wayne in the series? I'll send this over to the Batwoman guy himself first.
Movie rights is why I feel like you won't have the real Bruce Wayne in the series. They got too much stuff going on in the background. Y'all should know by now how the WB do. They give it and they take it away when they find out something is popular, so they could put it on another medium that they need to do. So no, I don't think he was killed off too quick. I do believe that the reason it felt like that is because of the shortened season. I feel like if they would have finished that season out, it wouldn't have felt like it was quick because he was a part of that entire arc of that season. And then just to have him gone in the first episode makes it feel too quick because it's a fresh season. So if you watch that first episode of this season with the last season, it feels like it was long enough. But if you're watching it as, I'm coming in and this dude is gone, that's when it feels like it's too short. So I just knocked that to COVID.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Because the way they built it up at the end, it was originally, you could tell it was originally meant to be they're building up the final conflict of that season. But yeah, because of COVID, and that ended up being the episode they ended it on, it ended up turning to nope, they're built. Now it feels like what they're building up to is the conflict for the next season, even though it was never meant to be that. It was always meant to just be, the conflict for the season finale. That's it.
I will say this, while I when it comes, I will answer the idea of why do you think we can't have a real Bruce Wayne in this series? I think we will. I think we will at some point. I mean, we've got a real Bruce Wayne over in Titans that they've utilized. We've seen a version of a Bruce Wayne used in Elseworlds also for Batwoman. So I know they don't have a problem of putting the Bruce Wayne character on screen. So I do think that Batwoman will eventually have a Bruce Wayne appearance, the real Bruce Wayne. Now, whether that be this year or an upcoming season after that, if it gets, well, it is going to get renewed for season 3. But I do expect Bruce Wayne to eventually pop back up in here, because we have seen Bruce Wayne's utilized before in 2 different television series from DC. So while I definitely know that we are used to Warner Brothers, like you said, Indy, giveth and taketh away, I do feel like there is an element of maybe Warner Brothers that's becoming a little bit more lax with it since Crisis on Infinite Earths, when we got Ezra Miller popping up in there also. So maybe they're a little bit more open to it. So I think real Bruce Wayne will eventually pop up, though.
My fingers are crossed for it. And sorry.
No, I'm gonna tell you what the issue is, and it's the same issue as why Flash doesn't go get other heroes to help, because it solves the problem. If Bruce Wayne pops up, the problem is solved.
It's solved, right? Now you have Bruce Wayne, and now you have Batman and Batwoman fighting crime together, right? They can take it on everybody. So I get what you mean.
I'll say this: the challenge of
for
that.
sure.
The challenge of that is, unlike Superman and Supergirl, Bruce Wayne and Batwoman take up the same city, so it would be weird to have Batman in a Batwoman TV series and have to come up with really weird explanations for why they're not teaming up very often. But I personally would be okay with it, just because it happens in the comic books all the time. You have several Batwoman comic books that all take place in Gotham City, and you never see Batman appear in them. So I personally think you could theoretically have Bruce Wayne come back in Batwoman and not have to worry about him constantly crossing over with her. But yeah, I do personally really hope that they do bring back or that they bring back that actor to actually play Bruce Wayne, because it would be really cool to get like an official Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse.
I want more of Nightwing crossing over rather than bringing Bruce Wayne in. That's what I want to see. I'm actually, and this might just be because of Bruce Wayne fatigue, whether it's in the comics and everything like that, because we know how it is. Every friggin' thing in the DC universe revolves around Batman.
It does, yeah.
So I would love for somebody other than Bruce Wayne to show up to do something. I mean, that anybody else other than Bruce Wayne to show up, and I would be really happy, because I'm as much as I love the character Bruce Wayne Batman, I feel like he's a really intriguing character. He has the best gallery of roles ever in comic history. It's just it's been too much of him in the 37 years I've been on this planet.
No, I get you. I definitely get you there, man.
He's the JDF of the DC universe.
Yes. It's like, yes. I love Jason David Frank, but bro, you go do something else. Please do something else.
Oh shit! I've just never heard it. I've never heard it compared like that.
Cameo. Can we get another ad? Can we get somebody else? Look, to the point where, like, can we just please have Jason back? Like give us somebody else.
Oh shit! That's funny, dude. Yeah, I guess that's a great comparison. I think. Let's see here. I'm handsome, dude. Has another question. He says, "Do you think the Flash has too many characters and not enough focus on Barry?"
It might be too much focus on Barry, to be honest with you. Everything revolves around Barry and the Flash, to the point when you go, "Oh, we got to take his powers away. This problem's going." They had the same problem. They have to handicap Barry to make the villains be able to do something. Every single season is some handicap put on Barry, so he can't just save the day in a minute. And that might be the issue. I feel like they need to do less of Barry and more of the other characters, and that's the problem that we're having. A lot of the other characters they bring in are getting left out because the story revolves so much around Barry and that chick Iris. So when Iris dies and they're able to give the other characters more screen time, we'll be all right.
Take a shot every time Indy brings up the idea of killing Iris off.
For real, every weekend.
But yeah, I mean, I say that there are a lot of characters in the Flash, but I don't think that's the problem. I'm with Indy. I kind of wish, and I think that season 6 has been doing a lot better with it, but it still hasn't gotten there yet. Like, I still think there's potential for it to improve with it. But yeah, I would like to see it better utilize those characters because we have a lot of them. But you know, it a lot of times feels like even main characters feel like they're sometimes just guest starring on the show and not actually like main characters on the show at times. So I do kind of wish they were a little more organized about how they used all their characters.
I want to go back to having a Wells for more than a season.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. The man is an amazing actor, but having to reintroduce myself to new Wells, they take so much time in a season to do that. Because here goes Cisco. Gotta get cool with this guy. Doesn't like it every friggin' season.
Mm-hmm. The joke got old. The moment they introduce like the Sherlock Wells, I'm like, okay, guys, this is okay. Please stop, please. The moment you do a Sherlock Wells, that's when you're just like, this is just desperate. Can we just stop with this?
Yeah. We will not let this man out of contract to save his life. He can't go do nothing else.
Nothing else.
Let's bring back Earth 2 Wells. He had perfect chemistry with the cast. Just keep him then.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. Let's see here. We're going to transition a little bit. We got a plethora of Power Ranger questions for TV wise. I don't really like to highlight Power Rangers too much on this show. It's just because we have a whole channel devoted to it also. But I'll entertain the Power Ranger questions here, especially for you guys, because they are asking you guys questions too. It says, for the three of you, what are your thoughts on the 2017 Power Rangers movie reboot? What'd you think of it, Indy? Wasn't a fan?
I wasn't a fan of the pacing of the movie. I understood what they were trying to do far as story-wise. I feel like whoever edited that movie screwed the entire thing up. Like they had a story they wanted to tell, and I was with the story. I was with the characters they were trying to build. And if somebody went, we don't need this or this or this or this. Oh, so we don't need to know who the characters are, why they're doing what they need to do. It's cool. We don't need to know how they got their powers to work. We're just gonna put every scene of them in a cave for 10 minutes and just let it go. It made no sense to me. I feel sorry for the actors because I feel like each one of them individually played their roles like they did well. Rita was actually a very amazing design to me. I like the character aspect. Some of the designs, they went a little wonky, like with Godar and with the Zord, made absolutely no sense to me, not seeing the Zord combine, just falling on and pop back up. That's just being cheap. Or they couldn't get it right in editing and was like, we'll just do it this way.
Editing guys like, no, we don't need this.
Yeah. But I really feel sorry because I feel like those kids aren't going to get another chance to, you know what I'm saying, reprise those characters that they spent so much time doing. Some of them lucked out and went to go do other things, you know, but others we'll probably never hear from again. So I'm sorry about that, but I went to the theater to see this, and I want my $20 back.
So he wants his reparations, guys. Give him Lionsgate. Give him his man's $20 back.
No, I never thought something would be worse than Turbo.
Oh no!
Yes.
Come on!
Wow.
You put it under Turbo?
I put it under Turbo because at least Turbo had a premise and went into another Power Ranger season. So there was a meaning for Turbo, and it had meaningful cameos in Turbo. Meaningful cameos. We got freaking Kim and Tommy just standing. Oh wow, look at that. Nah, I'm good. Again, Jason David Frank, go do something else. Go your Legend of the Legendary Dragon, whatever you're doing, go do over there. Go help your daughter with her music.
Wow.
Do something else.
Wow, I gotta admit, Indy, I love the bold take, man. I really do. That's the first time I've heard anybody say that. That's amazing. Only here, ladies and gentlemen. A+ opinions, my man. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the take, bro. What about you, Stuart? What were your thoughts on the 2017 movie?
Very different from Mindy's. No, I absolutely loved I absolutely loved the 2017 movie up until the last third, or not even the last third, just like up until like the final fight, because this is what's so bizarre about the 2017 Power Rangers movie is, like, I went in expecting it to be kind of a dumb movie, but like really enjoyable, kind of dumb. But then the whole movie, I'm like intrigued the entire way, mostly because I like it when you can take something so weird and bizarre and mix it with like characters that are grounded and feel real, and put it into a real feeling world, right? I love that, and that's what the movie did so well. About the entire like montage we get of the Rangers, like training to become the Power Rangers, that kind of stuff, the characters developing themselves and having to become friends in order to figure out how to finally morph at the end. Everything there was so good, and it just sucks because we get some cool action scenes when they're out of suit, for sure. But then when they finally morph, the only good action scene we get lasts for like 15 seconds when they're fighting the putties. And then suddenly they have to go into the Zords, and you realize, wait, that's it? That's all the Power Rangers action we got in the entire movie. It was that 15 seconds. And then it becomes like the Zord battles, which were just bad. And then like the tone of the movie takes a weird dramatic shift as you have, like the girls that Kimberly, was trying to make amends with. You have this thing where she smashes their car, and she's just like, oops. It's like, I'm sorry, but weren't you the bully in that situation?
You were the bully.
Like, wasn't your arc the fact that you feel bad about the way you treated them? Like, and then you just kind of end it with oops. And then like on top of that, then you have like the Zord battle itself, which looks terrible. Like the Zord, when it becomes the Megazord at the end, it looked awful. And then yeah, I hated everything about the ending of the movie, which sucks because the buildup was so great. Everything leading to the ending was so great. They couldn't stick the landing, though, and that's what kind of upset me about this film.
Cobra Kai was better than that entire Power Ranger movie. What's his name? Ivan Ooze at the end of the movie looked better than that Zord and Gordar fighting, and that CG in that movie looked totally fake. That's the stuff I don't understand. Exactly what he said. 15 minutes as in the suits. You know what I'm saying? Like running around the oops. Like she should have. She should have depowered right then. When she went oops, her power should have been stripped away. You're still being a bully. Zordon should have did something to it. Like these are the lessons that we're teaching kids. You know what I'm saying? Like it made absolutely no sense to me. Like Power Ranger Area said, this is the best thing I thought about the movie was how RG Siler played being on the spectrum. Like that was the most amazing part of the movie, and the best thing they could have ever did with a character like Billy, especially with them never letting that character come out. You know what I'm saying? Like the actor, you know what I'm saying, that played him. They could have been world renowned in the TV series if they would have let, you know what I'm saying, Billy at some time come out. You know what I'm saying, come out. But no, Billy had to have a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to me that they took a property that still to this day is a very popular property and flushed it down the toilet again.
But yeah, with that all being said, I definitely don't. I think I enjoyed the movie a lot more than you, Andy, because I didn't think it was a bad movie. It's just I just couldn't stick the landing, and that's why I didn't like the end result of it. But I do overall like the movie, and I do recommend it to people for sure, because everything right before the actual Power Ranger part of the movie is really good.
You blame everything that I'm feeling right now, and the reason why I'm judging the movie like it's judging, you could blame that 120% on Mr. Adam Perez and introducing me into Sentai, and it's his fault. It's his fault because now I used to be in love with Power Rangers. I used to come to his channel all the time and listen to the reviews, and he ruined it for me because now I judge Power Rangers so hard because I watch Sentai.
I just helped you get your big boy pants on when it comes to Power Rangers. Like, you know what? Let's transition us over to some mature theme stuff. But yeah, no, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. You know, except for the turbo take. That's no, I did enjoy this movie. I really did enjoy it. I thought the cast, the chemistry, the storyline for them really won me over. But the final act in this movie is just it's just a disgrace to Power Rangers. It's almost like, and I've said this before. I'm not going to get too into it. I've said this before. Just the idea that the movie forgot that it was a Power Ranger movie until like the last 10 minutes. And it's like, oh crap, we gotta put all this stuff in here real quick. And it just was just the execution was just pretty poor for the finale. But I still watch it. I still enjoy it. You know, I still enjoy the characters and some of the sequences that we get. But as far as it being a Power Ranger movie, it really. It's still a solid film overall. I can see why it hasn't gotten a sequel. Do I think it should get one? Yeah, I think it was good enough to certainly warrant one, but I get the idea of why they didn't want to give us another one. The other question here from Dino Fury says, how do you feel?
I'm sorry. They just want to know who asked about the 2017 movie.
Oh, I don't know. It just says Dino Fury. It says, how did you feel when Jason came back in Zeo as the Gold Ranger? Did you expect that? Did you wish he stayed longer, like early in the series instead of the second half? No, I thought his execution of returning was pretty spot on. I definitely enjoyed it myself. For me, the Gold Ranger is one of my favorite costumes out of Power Rangers. I love how Jason kind of owned that role, honestly. I don't believe it was originally supposed to be Jason, but maybe I'm wrong in that.
It was supposed to be Jason Davis Frank's younger brother.
Well, that was one of them.
Yeah.
The other thing that they were considering was tying it into VR Troopers and having the main character from that show cross over and become the Gold Ranger.
I would have taken that. I would have taken that too. But I did enjoy Jason. I loved the idea that Jason kind of came back. Homeboy was rocking that trench coat like nobody's business, man. The headbands and everything. It's like we got Undertaker from
and the one hoop earring.
yeah. It was just an interesting side of Jason, and I was a big fan of. So no, I like the way he was utilized.
You think Jason told Tommy why Kim left him?
She was with me. No. What were some of your guys' top 10 Power Ranger theme songs leading up to Dino Fury? It says for Indian Stewart, what did you guys think of the new Dino Fury theme song? I don't want to take up too much time with the top 10 because we do have 3 more questions for somebody else. What did you guys think of the Dino Fury theme song?
I think I've honestly thought this been better. From me, a person who actually does music like for a living, they've definitely had better theme songs. It works. Nickelodeon is weird. The way they choose to do things and different things, put things together is really weird. It fits a Nickelodeon vibe, but I don't think it's nowhere near even being a good theme song. It just fits that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the one thing I'll give it to it, not the song itself. The song itself, I didn't think was bad. It was just kind of, okay. It did what it needed to do. I understand that now they don't have as much creativity because the new network standard is that it has to be 30 seconds, according to the showrunner. So I totally get that. So I just thought it was kind of okay, but like honestly, if I'm being honest, very forgettable. But I did love how they showed us the opening theme song to what I'm assuming is the first 2 episodes. And I like that they're keeping us in suspense with the other 2 Rangers for the series. I like that they only show us the first 3 rather than spoiling it for the audience like right off the bat. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Let's see here. And then the last couple of questions from another Dino Real Soul. We're definitely gonna need somebody to change their names here. I'm almost starting to wonder if they're the same person. It says when the first MCU Captain America movie came out, what were your expectations when the trailer and news broke out? And do you think it changed comic book adaption? Same with Iron Man. I guess we're talking about the first Avenger here. I'm gonna be honest. I was never the biggest fan of Captain America, the first Avenger. I wasn't the biggest fan of it being like a period piece, taking like a true origin story like that. I mean, I just felt like maybe the execution of it could have been done a little bit differently. I will say this though, it is a movie that upon my first watching it, I wasn't the biggest fan the first time I watched it, but after watching just the MCU in total, as far as like up to like Infinity War and Endgame and things like that, I definitely do have a little bit more of appreciation for the first Avenger when it's after watching it, you know, a couple of times after that. But upon initial viewing, no, I was not the biggest fan of it at all. But I feel like my opinion is usually the unpopular one. I feel like more people enjoyed the first one than I certainly did. My bread and butter, as far as game changing when it comes to Captain America, the Winter Soldier for sure. So that's my choice of MCU Captain America movies. What about you guys? What were your thoughts in regards to the first Captain America movie when it came out?
First time watching it, I really enjoyed it. And, you know, I still enjoy it upon rewatches, of course. But someone pointed something out to me about this movie that really kind of made me look at the movie in a whole new light. There aren't, with the exception of the fight between Captain America and the Red Skull, like in the middle of the film, this film has no fight scenes. They have montages. Like every fight scene is a montage when you think about it in the first Captain America movie. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. For me, I didn't enjoy the movie. I didn't dislike it. I've always liked the second half of this movie better than I liked Iron Man. Notice the second half. I like the story it's telling, but you don't get to appreciate the story that it's telling until after you watch Winter Soldier and see everything that's going on. You have to watch him lose Bucky, see Bucky come back, and then go back to truly understand what he's going through, because Captain America was the character that had to evolve the fastest out of the core Avengers when it came to the MCU. He had to catch up to speed because he came on, you know what I'm saying, later than some of them. Thor never had to change. Captain America went through so many different changes coming up that it just felt like he was being rushed, you know what I'm saying, to lead and didn't have time to do it. So it was pretty interesting seeing how the character birthed on screen, because I'm gonna tell you something. Them first couple of 100 Captain America comics are really hard to read through. They are so boring. So I'm so glad that we got a movie. We just sit and just watch. But I appreciate it more as time goes on and understand how epic that was of a movie to be able to make it like that. The montages annoy the crap out of me, but it was an interesting way to film. You know what I'm saying? To get a lot, because think about how much longer that movie would have been if they would have been full scenes. It was just a long movie, but I appreciate it for what it is. But it's definitely not even in my top 20 out the MCU.
Yeah, I don't even remember where I even have it on my list. I don't recall the Red Skull and Cap fight scene in the airplane hangar, or in the airplane, being a montage though. Am I wrong?
Was there really? I don't remember the fight being that long between the two of them in the airplane.
No, it wasn't.
But,
I mean, it wasn't that long. I mean, it was pretty brief, but it was definitely a battle between those two. I will say this: I definitely agree with you, Indy, that this movie does help establish not only the relationship with Bucky, but really the planning of the storylines for Peggy Carter, you know, the idea of their relationship and stuff. You know, while I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie the first time that I watched it, walking away from this movie, one of the aspects of the film I enjoyed was the ending, the idea of you know, Steve waking up and realizing that he missed his date, he missed his opportunity, you know, with Peggy, this promise that he kind of kept her. And I love how that premise kind of really stayed with Steve over all those years, and they still continue to focus on it. So again, the first Avenger is a movie, again, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It's not in my, like you said, Indy, it's probably not in my last top maybe my last top 10 of the least top 10. I don't know. But it's definitely there. But the more I watch it after you see the MCU as a whole, the more for me that I definitely have come to appreciate a little bit more and really like some of the moments in there, like Steve taking the pin out of the flagpole and grabbing it type of thing, little things here and there that really made it enjoyable after viewing it at the end of the day. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
To me, you know what that scene needed? That needed him getting the flag from the pool and then going back and running with the troops, being like, "Nah, I'm part of the team."
Nice. And let's see here. We got 2 more questions. It says, did you guys watch any of the classic Spider-Man and Iron Man animated series growing up? And what were your thoughts? Yeah, I used to watch a lot of the. Well, I'm wondering if they mean I wonder what classic is to them now. Like, are we talking
you talking about Spider-Man and Friends, or y'all talking about like Spider-Man, like?
Yeah, I'm talking about. Are you talking 90s cartoons? We talking like 60s, 70s stuff? Because like for me, that's like that stuff. 60s and 70s is the classic Spider-Man and Iron Man stuff. Like when Stan Lee was getting ready to start, doing his animated stuff there. I used to love those and rent those all the time growing up as a kid. But as far as like if you're talking 90s, oh, those are classics, man. Those are classics. I used to love them growing up. I was always awake on a Saturday to catch all those cartoon series for sure.
Oh yeah, loved watching those on Fox Kids. Never watched the Iron Man TV series, and I think that was just because that show didn't have reruns as much as Spider-Man, whereas Spider-Man would constantly have not only reruns, but they would also be playing new episodes as well. So yeah, I never watched Iron Man, but I really loved the 90s Spider-Man animated series. It had like it perfectly adapted the art style from the comic books onto the screen. Same exact thing with the X-Men series as well.
Yeah, Iron Man, I feel like came on during the same block with like Fantastic Four and even Incredible Hulk. I felt like they were all around the same time.
Yeah, definitely. I rocked with Spider-Man. Iron Man was hit and miss for me, and that's just because I don't feel like whoever was doing the cartoon really knew that you can't do Tony Stark right in a kid's cartoon. Really, if you really want to tell his story, it's a really hard thing to do because Tony Stark was nothing but an alcoholic playboy. You know what I'm saying? Robert Downey Jr. was literally the perfect person to play Tony Stark. Like it was no other person. But for me, like you bring up the X-Men cartoon, I love the X-Men animated series. But to be totally honest with you, I enjoyed X-Men Evolution of Wolverine and the X-Men more than I like. You know what I'm saying? The X-Men cartoon that came on in the 90s. But when it comes to cartoons, man, nothing beats the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, the Justice League Unlimited. Nothing beats those stories and that they told. I mean, it'd be full season stories that would wrap up. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what the MCU was doing now is what those used to do in their seasons in the cartoons. That's why I don't understand why the DCU can't get it right. You already did it,
dude. I've rewatched Justice League Unlimited so many times, and it's one of those. It's so amazing how great they are at telling stories, not just for kids, but how like these stories hold up even more the older you get. The more you kind of recognize the subtle themes within these shows. And to me, like, no one understands these characters better than the writers of the Justice League animated series.
Yo, one of the best episodes was Green Lantern dealing with his relationship problems. Like that was hilarious. Him having to deal with breaking up with a hot girl, and all the girls sitting down at the table talking about him, and he walks in. It was just stuff like that where I'm sitting there watching it with my nephew and like, should you be watching it? Oh, it's cool. Like totally fully enjoying him squirming through the situation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the other cartoon, well, I don't know. You had that love triangle going on between friggin' Wolverine, Jean, and Cyclops. They kind of blatantly put that out there a lot.
All right. Next question here. How did you feel when the first Justice League film was first announced? And did you expect it to be somewhat of a mixed bag for a lot of people?
I felt like you're rushing. I remember, I think we talked about that. I was like, you're rushing to keep up with the MCU. And it's probably going, and what did it do? It did mess it up. because they were rushing to get to the point, and they should have just took their time. If they took their time, they wouldn't be having none of these issues.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it interesting. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Stuart?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I fully agree. Like, I think when the DC cinematic universe started, its biggest problem was that they tried to play catch up, and that was like one of the big. I don't want to say that was the only problem. That was one of the many factors of why the DC like cinematic universe started off extremely rough.
So my expectation for Justice League was a $1 billion film. I mean, for me, I couldn't wrap my head around the idea that you have all these popular DC characters in one film, and this should be the bank just. Unfortunately wasn't the case. You look at Man of Steel. Man of Steel brought home $668 million at the box office. You look at Batman versus Superman, $873 million. Guys, we're just moving on up the ladder here, guys. And then all of a sudden they start coming together with the Justice League, and they say, you know what? We want to change what it is that we're doing. And unfortunately, when you look at the box office for Justice League, it showed $657 million. You start going backwards then. So this movie should have been $1 billion. They should have let Zack Snyder continue to do what he did. Even the fact that if people didn't like what Zack Snyder's doing, the box office says differently. $668 million for Man of Steel, $873 million worldwide for Batman versus Superman. Whatever it was that Zack Snyder was doing, sometimes I feel like people were kind of gravitating towards it a little bit. But I think if you have like a movie like, I think Suicide Squad probably hurt a little bit for sure. But then again, that movie came $746 million also. So a part of me is just thinking to myself, like, man, I had high expectations for this, and I just think that they definitely rushed. I think that they listened to a loud minority, and was more reactionary than fully thinking it through. But I'm with you, Indy. I think that they rushed it. I think Zack Snyder had a plan. I think his plan was like a five-parter, if I'm not mistaken, a Man of Steel sequel after Justice League, and then a Justice League 2 to kind of fully wrap it up. When it was first announced, I was super pumped for it, but definitely a mixed bag result, and I was not expecting that, but I expected it once I actually saw the film. Honestly,
I am gonna have to correct you on one quick thing.
What's up?
Oh, Indy, you need to do the theme song for Hero Report, man.
Nice.
But I'll have to correct you on one quick thing, or not really correct you. You are technically correct on this, but with the Batman v Superman thing, its success, it's exactly like with Spider-Man 3. It came from opening weekend, but it also had one of the biggest drops in any superhero film when you follow the next week. So that's what they were worried about. They weren't necessarily worried about like the first initial impact with Justice League. They knew that no matter what opening weekend was going to be, they were more worried about like sticking to it. Now, I with that all being said, I do still agree with you. The fact that they had a contract with him and that they, fired him, even though he was already in the process of completing his film especially after losing a family member, that was all messed up. But yeah, I think that's what they were kind of looking at, was the drop of the number rather than, and again, it all comes to the fact that Warner Brothers just did a really bad job of planning things ahead of time rather than, trying to take this one movie at a time like they should have.
And then they went and got Joss Whedon.
The planning definitely hurt, and I get the idea of the drop off, but you still make $873 million at the box office at the end of the day. That's got to amount to something for the film, but unfortunately it just didn't. So I get the idea of it being a mixed bag. I mean, you give us. Oh, somebody's knocking on my door. That's what happens when you go live, guys. Something happens to the point of you giving us these additional movies that have a particular style and flair to them, and then bringing somebody in like a Joss Whedon that really kind of flips everything that you've established kind of on your head. I can see why it would have the mixed bag that it certainly did. I mean, when you tell me Joss Whedon's coming on board, I'm thinking to myself, this is a win. I thought it was a win, honestly. And then when I see that they were just making a Marvel movie for DC, it just did not go over well with me, like, at all, and clearly with some other people, because people just clearly didn't come back to even watch the movie several times. And that's the one thing that I say is that, if you're making $600 something million. I mean, or if you're making $800 something million, almost $1 billion, that's repeat customers. Those are people that are coming back. That's not just one person in the population seeing the movie one time, right? You're coming back to see this particular film. And I just feel like with Justice League, it should have been $1 billion easy, man. And unfortunately, it just wasn't that. Just wasn't that. All right, guys. I think that might be it for all of our questions. Let me just double check. All right. Yeah, I think we got everything. So that's going to go ahead and actually do it for our live viewer questions. I don't know if you guys want to pick up any comments or if we're good. I mean, I feel like we're almost going on 3 hours right now. So
no, we're good. You probably need to go get your door. That might be important.
It's probably just a delivery. They'll probably just drop it off at the door. We'll see. We'll see. I'll find out here in a minute. But anyway, other than that, guys, that's actually going to go ahead and do it for us here today. So thank you very much for certainly stopping by and enjoying another episode of APlus Hero Report with you. I would like to go ahead and ask you guys to go ahead and just let everybody know where they can certainly find you at.
I never know who goes first.
You go first, Indy, and then Stuart goes first.
As always, you guys can find me right here at APlus Hero Report on YouTube, first and foremost. You can now follow me at Anime Assembled on Instagram and check out the Anime Assembled podcast right here on APlus Hero Report. And I have news. Release date for the album is March 26th. And though I can't say who right now, the album has been picked up by a major. So, yay. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you very much.
And Stuart, where can they find you at on social media, man, if they need to reach out to you?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01 over on Twitter. Yeah, right over here. And All
right, awesome. Well, hey guys, listen. If you want to go ahead and follow us on social media, you can do so right here at aplusopinions. Follow Twitter and Twitch for you gamers also. But in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Of course, if you love our content, give us that big thumbs up, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. But until next time, that's going to do it for us here. So do us a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.